Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Serious Goob Show. Hold on, I gotta set up a timer. Uh, set it for 3 hours so that I know when I'm done streaming. There are lots of things in our agenda today. First thing, I want to learn. Okay, there's a couple things I need to figure out today. I need to figure out how to speak with my diaphragm. This is an important part of my streams going forward because I got to take care of this thing. This thing right here uh, is precious. It's precious, and I got to make sure to use it as most efficiently and as best as it can, so that I don't injure it. So what this means is I got to figure out how to do that. So we're going to today. Okay, so this is what today's stream is going to be. Largely, it is going to be a trash stream. This is maybe like the worst kind of stream. I will call this like a distasteful, sinful stream. In fact, I might even like call it. I don't know. Maybe I should have called that in the title. But the stream is sinful. What this means is that I am not streaming something to for the benefit of others. I'm not streaming something that is going to make people feel better about themselves, etc. I'm streaming right now because I committed myself to streaming. And I don't feel that I am ready to continue streaming right now. I feel that I want to invest a lot of time into improving my streams. And so this process is sort of demystifying the magic of that. I want to create magic. I want to have the appearance of magic. And maybe one day I will be able to obtain that. But for now, I just did not have time this weekend to work on my streams. I was too busy cleaning and preparing for family that's coming over. So I couldn't invest time into this thing. So I am instead choosing to invest that time into the stream itself. So in this what I should have done for homework. I should have done this for homework. Instead, I'm doing it here for you guys, and that's why this is a sin. That's why this is in my opinion the worst kind of stream possible. So I must ask for forgiveness. I apologize. I hope that I can make up for it in the future. I really don't want to run away from streaming, even if it doesn't make sense for me to stream right now. I want to improve my craft. I desperately want to improve my craft. This stream is I'm going to be streaming myself improving my craft. And that kind of sucks. I think it might be helpful. It might be educational. And I'm going to have to hopefully, rely on that. Rely on the fact that people might learn something from this, even if I fundamentally disagree with the kind of stream that this is. And maybe it might even be important for me to learn how to stream things that I fundamentally disagree with. So, with that being said, I want to. I was listening to some Last of Us. He's like, let's put some lo-fi Twitch safe lo-fi on here. I think eventually I will. End up switching the type of music that I play. So that's something on my dock. That's something on my thing, to think about when I want to improve the things that I'm doing. So, for now, I want to look up something. Also, Steam Machine reviews came out. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. I'm going to look up here, how to speak with diaphragm. Because this is just something that I have to learn how to do.
Let's look at the belly. I'm going to step back here. Where is it? It's here, right? It's somewhere down here. It's just underneath sort of your sternum, in the middle here, and your belly kind of moves down to your liver at this side. Behind it, you've got, the small intestine and the large intestine going around there. What's over here? Your pancreas. You've got your kidneys around the back. So it's all kind of happening. All these no things down there, and things that might be happening. It basically goes through your body. Is moves them aside. The abdominals certainly play a flowing breath because it's automated. The body knows what it's supposed to do. When you're breathing and when you're using your voice, it happens a lot more naturally for you. As now, diaphragmatic breathing is generally the idea that you're hey now I'm
I guess we've definitely improved your weak voice. I'm not looking to improve my weak voice. This is the thing that I see a lot of diaphragm breathing tutorials sort of position themselves as a technique to have a more masculine voice or something. I don't really know. That's not what I'm trying to do. I don't want to have a more masculine voice. I want to protect my voice. I want to protect it because it's sacred to me. I don't want to have a powerful voice. How to protect my voice. Reddit. How to improve my speech. I don't want to improve it. Maybe I do want to improve it. Control your voice and speak with a smooth, uninterrupted sound. Okay, so there's some warm-ups we can do. Singing. Singing for a while before you're about to speak can be a big help. If you sing everything you say, humming is also helpful. I build my wall, you build a wall. Say each of these out loud 3 times each. Around the rugged rocks, the ragged rascal ran. Around the rugged rocks, the ragged rascal ran. Around the rugged rocks, the ragged rascal ran. But I don't want to. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Zoologists illegally love to read astrology. What are these sentences? Professional. Okay, so I think the idea here is that I got to learn how to sing. I get good at singing. I'll learn how to speak. So I should just learn how to sing. Hands on your stomach and then pushing them out with your breath. Finding and using the text or tongue twister sounds you have a hard time pronouncing. Okay. Or having to breathe. Stopping as soon as you notice you don't have enough air to support your words. And never to strain your voice. I can give you a few tips as I did 3 years of voice and speech training and acting school. First off, breathing it the most important thing. Practice breathing from your diaphragm by placing your hands on your stomach and pushing them out in your breaths. Once you have got that down and can comfortably tell the difference between breathing with the diaphragm and not lifting out your chest as you breathe, you are good to start with the exercises. You should start by finding and using a text or tongue twister with sounds you have a hard time pronouncing. Always keeping your hands on your stomach and start saying the text and try to get as far as you can into the text before you have to breathe. Stopping as soon as you notice you do not have enough air to support your words, and never strain your voice. Rather, use the breath to let your words sort of flow out of your diaphragm. Use the breath to let the words sort of flow out of your diaphragm. Use the breath to let the words sort of flow out of your diaphragm. Then repeat over and over until you get the feel for it. Do not get tempted to stop and take breaths unless it is unavoidable. This strengthens the necessary muscles needed for proper breathing, and you will feel lightheaded. All of this will make your voice softer and smoother. You can also try to open up your throat and find the break in your voice that distinguishes your head voice from your chest voice. That will help you better control your voice. Also, find and practice the difference in voiced and unvoiced sounds as you form the s and z sounds the same way in your mouth. The only difference is that you cannot make the z sound without applying your voice. This is a long and a boring process, but I promise that if done right, will show great results. What kind of sounds do you have the biggest problems with? And in what country are you? If you have any questions on the subject, then ask away. This is a really weird. Learn ventriloquism. Learn ventriloquism. Carry around a sock puppet, name him something like Mauricio, and use a regular speaking voice as you ventriloquize Mauricio's voice. So any saxophone must have a commanding voice. Singing from atop of a mountain. What do you mean singing from atop of a mountain? Okay. So people who have trouble speaking speak without confidence. I don't like this. I don't know. It's not that I don't like this idea. And I'll put my hands on my diaphragm again. It's not that I don't like the idea that there is something to having a louder, more confident voice, but that is not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to have a louder, more confident voice. I'm not trying to have a more deeper voice. I'm not trying to have a more natural voice. What I'm trying to do is I want to protect my vocal cords. This is the only thing that matters to me. So if that is the only thing that matters to me, then I need to accept that my voice will just get a little bit deeper, that I will start to have more associations with uh, confident speaker voice, even if I don't necessarily want to have that. Right? I don't want to have that, but I might have to have that anyway, and that kind of sucks. Because I like having a lighter voice, and maybe there's a way that I can still speak with my diaphragm and sort of project a higher voice. Maybe that's still possible. Right? Maybe that's still possible. but it's going to take a lot of effort and focus and practice. So I think a big part of this is going to be learning how to sync. And I'm not very comfortable with singing. I get very embarrassed with singing. Okay. So, ha 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 ha. Would really help. I'm something them because you don't see improvements in 3 days. Keep doing them. You don't need to do really bad stuff. Little chocolate or honey. Honey might help. My dialect caused me to speak very fast, and there were people who didn't always understand me. These are also old Reddit comments. These are really old Reddit comments. Open your mouth more and strain your lips slightly to say each word perfectly. Don't slur. Overpronounce when rehearsing so that it will be easier when you're actually speaking to someone. That is crazy. The Sound of Your Voice by Carol Fleming. I don't want to have a radio voice. That's not what I want to have. But now I find this interesting. I find my voice a topic of interest. It's something that I didn't realize it before. Vocal warm-up techniques. Oh, okay. This video is about vocal warm-up techniques. Okay, these don't exist either. That's unfortunate. Hey, 13. How's it going? I am, uh, what am I doing right now? I would like to protect my vocal cords. That's what I'm trying to do. I, uh, I want to make sure that my vocal cords don't get fucked up. I would really like that to not happen. And so this is part of my own personal training of what I'm doing for something that I'm calling streaming etiquette, which is how do I make better streams? So there is like sort of two halves. There's two sides of the battle of being a streamer. There is the content itself needs to be interesting. The content, right? That like what exists in the stream should be interesting and fun. But then also outside of the stream, like you have to sort of like train yourself in other ways to like, for example, your branding kind of needs to be on point. Um, your appearance should be taken into consideration. Your like the presentation of what you do. And then there's another like within that space, there is also health. So your health needs to be on point too. If your health is not, on point, then if you can't stream very well, then you're not going to succeed as a streamer. You will also probably not succeed in like other ways too. But you just need to be in good health. And within the context of streaming, one of the things to be wary of is the voice. The voice is a big part of it. And I sort of like in the last week since I've been streaming daily, I realized that my voice was getting very sore because I just spoke a lot more than I usually do. And I also really enjoy speaking. So now I know like this is a thing I really have to consider is that I am at risk of, very, very much torturing my voice box. So I have to overcome that by learning different techniques to protect my voice. And one of those techniques is supposedly breathing through your diaphragm and practicing speaking with your diaphragm. So I'm just sort of been sitting here for like 20 minutes, just like reading through this Reddit thread. And so I think that I might make that a series that I stream. This idea of like understanding the voice and using the thinking of the voice as a tool and as a thing that can be mastered. That might be fun. Um, but it is also a it is also like, because it exists in that sphere that is that secondary sphere, it doesn't exist in the sphere of the content itself, like the learning to present better. You know, there's a weird thing I think that happens when the content becomes a part of it, which like feels unhygienic. Like there's this idea that I'm developing that there's like there's something called, or something that can be equivalent to hygiene, like stream hygiene, and this kind of content I think is unhygienic. So either I find a way to make it hygienic, or I do this on my own time and I don't do this as a streaming thing. If my goal is to create content that people want to see, this sort of like goes against that, at least in the current ways in which we think of content. Maybe the question for me is actually, how can I figure out a way to deliver this kind of content in a way that actually is interesting or is fun to watch? That I think is going to take me several months, if not like a year, if not more than a year, to really learn how to do. So I'm not going to worry too much whether I succeed on that. But my sort of like goal right now, among all things, is to simply experiment, throw shit in the wall, see what sticks, see if my suspicions on what content is good or not, if those suspicions align with reality, if there's if maybe there is still something I can learn myself from something like this. Hi Mercedes, how's it going? I just spent uh like 5 minutes just explaining what it is that I'm doing, so I'm not gonna explain it again. But I am like, this is a sinful stream. This is a doo doo stream. This is like the worst kind of stream, in my opinion, because this is not a stream that exists in like with its own merit. It is not a stream that is even thinking about what it is to entertain. The reason why I am streaming is because I am streaming. Like, the reason why I'm streaming is because I committed to streaming. And I ran out of time to do this homework in my own free time. I just didn't have time for that this weekend. And I was hoping to maybe do some of that this morning, and I didn't. And so you're watching me basically do the homework I should have done for today's stream, as opposed to the stream itself. That's why this stream is sinful. It's like it's quite literally the worst kind of stream maybe to exist. And what, setting that aside, setting that like line there, if I'm already sort of at rock bottom, if there's literally nowhere to go but up, maybe that actually puts me in a position to to let loose, like really let loose on myself and see if I can explore something, understand something, learn something, uh, and maybe, maybe I will, maybe this will end up being, you know, if not entertaining, I don't know if it'll be entertaining, but at least, maybe somebody might learn something. And if somebody does learn something, I think that is always valuable. I think that like there is no sort of price to that, and it doesn't matter how much you sin. I think knowledge is always, imparting knowledge is the greatest gift you can give someone. So, hi Sunroku, how's it going? Wow. Okay. So I I'm not sure whether I want to continue doing like going through this exercises, but I guess I do want to say something that I'm realizing now is that I have to learn how to sing. This is like now I'm realizing this is like maybe the most important thing I can do for myself, for my streaming career, and for my voice is learning how to sing because there are too many lessons from singing that I can impart into something like streaming that if I don't take that opportunity, I will be forever streaming dishonestly. Like I will forever be streaming in a way that I know is being held back, and it is being held back by not a good reason, but out of fear or out of cowardice, because I am afraid to sing, or because I know I'm not very good at singing, and up until now, I've had fun being bad at singing. So I've taken pride in the fact that I'm bad at singing, and that might be something I have to overcome and uh, sort of be okay with letting go of that side of me. So there is some grieving that I will have to do, and I think it'll be worth it, but it will not be necessarily easy. Like, it's gonna take some time as I sort of adjust to you know the the loss of the person that I was and becoming the person that I want to be. So, uh, so yeah, so that's the lesson I've learned right now. Um, but there is another thing I want to point out. So today's stream is streaming etiquette. So that is just the idea here is I want to understand like what are the different ways in which a stream can be improved because I've streamed for a week now. I think I did a decent job. I think I did commendably. Uh, and I can keep going. I can keep going. And I think it would be okay for me to keep going. But I want to keep going while also actively seeking ways to improve my work. I don't want to burn myself out, and I don't think I will. I think I have good techniques to avoid that or overcome that, but I don't want to, I think as much fun as I would have just keep doing the things that I want to do, I have a mission, I have a purpose. I want to succeed, and I want to facilitate the all like the best practices that I can to really set up and propel myself to success. So, uh, the reason why I bring that up is because part of the stream, and this is not going to take too long, but part of the stream, I want to sort of look at something I found interesting. Also, I've been watching a lot of Ben 10 clips on 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 YouTube recently. I'm just kind of in the Ben 10 phase right now. Uh, Hold on, let me see if I can find this. So I found an example of another streamer. I found another streamer. And so right now, I am going to do something a little, just something that is going to be a little, not uncomfortable, but I guess a little uncomfortable. I'm going to be reacting to this person's content for a little bit, and I'm going to be critiquing her work. And this is not me like I don't want to come across as one that, like, I'm not trying to make fun of this person at all, and I'm not trying to call out this, like, this is so not personal is what I'm trying to say, because I found this stream like randomly. It was just Emma recommended, and I just like started watching it, and I was also like really high when I was watching it. And so I started watching it, and I just started developing thoughts of like, oh my god, my art brain is like developing. Like I'm noticing some of the flaws in this stream because I also committed those flaws, and I want to sort of like have a sort of like just watch a couple minutes of this person and sort of like discuss what are the things that I observe that are what I would call like very like beginner mistakes. And this is something I have not really explored yet. I'm trying to find it. I don't know if I can find it. It's got to be here somewhere. Where would you be? I believe if I look up, I know she was playing Zelda. Okay, this is going to take me once, as I literally only watched like 1 or 2 videos from this person. So it's going to be very much hidden in my history. Let's see. I guess it also, okay, let me think about, okay, so when was I high? It's my question. I think this was when the night of the TADC finale. So that must have been around here. It was here. Okay. It was okay. It was here. All right. Okay. All right. So I found this person just randomly. I just got recommended this channel, and I do like my intention is not to call out this person for any reason. I don't know this channel or this creator. So I'm not gonna say to subscribe to this person or not to subscribe to this person. I just don't know enough about this person. Instead what I want to do is I want to sort of like offer a space to think about something that is as subjective and as strange and undefined as streaming a little bit more critically. Like, is it possible to think about something like this with a little bit more intent, or see if we can figure out some of the sort of like theory? Is there theory to be found within streaming? And my supposition, my belief is that yes, there is something to be found in. There's something there is theory. There is streaming theory, and I'm sure some people have like really thought about this.
You can get a bronze, silver, or a gold medal for the course.
So let me see. I'm gonna start playing.
More hits on enemies, you can get a bronze, silver, or a gold medal for the course.
Okay, immediately. We already have a stream sin. I'm gonna call this a sin, but it's not a sin. It's just like this is a beginner thing or a thing that I would call like a beginner mistake. And this is something that I've done too, by the way. This is something that I did a lot this week, which is, so she's playing a game.
The more hits on
Then she stops playing the game
enemies
in order to read this comment. So my head's sort of covering that. Oh, okay. Doesn't really matter. But like there is a comment here. The more hits on enemies, this is what she's reading, is this line right here. The more hits on enemies, you can get a bronze, silver, or gold medal for the course. So I don't know what this comment is relating to, but
you can get a bronze, silver,
hopefully you can hear her stream.
Or a gold medal for the course.
So, okay, this is a mistake. This is mistake number 1. She
On enemies, you can get a bronze, silver,
I'll
or
repeat it
gold
again.
medal for the course.
So she she pauses the game, reads what somebody stated. That's a mistake. That's the mistake. Is that she like, so there are sort of 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 different things that are pulling attention from the viewer right now. So if you're watching the stream, if you're just, especially if you're watching this as a you know, like as a VOD, like I was. So there are maybe like at any moment there's a few things that are pulling my attention. There is
hits on
the game. I want to watch the gameplay.
enemies, you can get a bronze
I want to watch her. I wanna. So those are the two things. I want to watch the gameplay. I want to know who she is,
silver or a gold medal for the course.
and I'm interested in what the comments have to say. So those are sort of the three things that I have in my head as I am like watching, just like as I'm watching the stream. And when she like the problem is that when she sort of like pulls the attention, the focus to one part, the other parts really start to stagnate. So there's, if we think of this as like a triangle, as she's focusing on the game, she can't read the comments at the same time. She also can't really, she's focusing on the game. So she will also have less sort of opportunity to show herself off. The focus is going to be in the game. Then when she reads the comment, now the focus is going to be on the comment, and all the focus is removed from the game itself. The game stops. So if I'm, as the audience member, if I am interested in the game, I will feel very frustrated watching her stop. Okay, I'll be very frustrated just watching her stop and not just to sort of like interfere with the gameplay so much to read these things that I'm not that interested in. I'm interested in the game. I'm not interested in the comments. But if I'm interested in her and what she has to say, that's not what she's doing here. She's reading the comments, and sometimes this is an isolated example. She usually replies to the comments, but what she is doing is she's reading the comments. Okay, so we're not seeing like the focus is going to be on what the comments are saying, and I'm not getting what I want if I wanted to learn more about her, which is I want to learn more about her. I don't want to learn more about what her comments are saying. So it doesn't really act like a conversation. And this is an isolated example, by the way, where she didn't really say much on top of those comments. But I'll I'll sort of show what I'm talking about. Like this is also relevant when she does reply to the comments. She does have something to say about it. So let's see if she replies to something here. And by the way, I don't blame her for any of this because what she's doing is extremely difficult. Like to play a game, to be yourself, and then to also like talk and reply to comments is really hard. And I'll tell you, and also I'll explain why this mistake happens too.
Dang it.
See, I might have to see if I can go back a bit.
Okay, I'm gonna just
Okay, let's see here. So here Nathan will say something.
feel like Fi's gonna scold me. What are you doing?
There you go. So now she's gonna read the comments and she's gonna say something.
Okay, I'm gonna just deem that as
Or maybe she doesn't reply to it. Never mind, she might not reply to it. Here we go.
The revamped multiplayer in Star Fox. Why do I only have?
Okay, so I was hoping to. Okay, so that was two examples in a row where she just reads it and she doesn't reply to it. That's not the mistake that I'm catching, that I want to catch. That she did that twice in a row. I'm just not gonna like that. I'm not gonna, critique that, because I'm not interested in that critique. Like that's like very low hanging fruit is what I'm trying to say. To say like, oh, she should reply to the comments. Why isn't she replying? That's like anybody can come up with that critique. So I'm not interested in like denouncing that. Okay, so
Dang it.
if I don't catch an example of this soon, then I'll move on to the other mistakes. But I want to like see if I can convince you that like the ways in which she's interacting with the comments, even when she's speaking, and even if she's replying to it, it's not really revealing any new information about her. Again, this is a like losing battle for her. Like, I said losing battle, but like this is extremely hard. This is an extremely hard thing to do. Is I want to like emphasize that over and over and over again. Like this is so not like, saying that, oh, she's a bad streamer or anything. It's just basically she's doing something that is like impossible.
Okay.
And so like I commend her for being able to like, I commend her for being a streamer at all.
I don't think I'm gonna. That's called the skull splitter. That I think is number 4. So basketball's not your sport either. What gave you the impression I was sporty at all? I'm playing video games.
Okay, here's a great example. So there's a comment. So basketball is not your sport either. She reads it and she says
It's
this.
not your sport either. What gave you the impression I was sporty at all? I'm playing video games.
So she does not respond here in a way that facilitates an interesting conversation. She's responding to this in the way that anybody would respond to this, which is, so basketball is not your sport either, and then you say what's on your mind. Like you say like, and again, this is something that I did a lot in the streams before. But she says, like, will give you the impression that I was sporty at all. I'm a gamer. Okay. So that's low hanging fruit in it of itself. But she's trying to come up with something witty. She's trying to come up with something funny. She's not necessarily succeeding in that. So, or maybe she is. She might be to some people. So we're not. So that's a skill in it of itself. So I'm not going to look into that either. So that's not even what I'm going to critique. What I'm going to critique is that this is an opportunity to be vulnerable. Okay, this is an opportunity to do something about this. And she says, "Will give you the impression that I'm not sporty at all." That to me is only an answer that you can give if you have certain thoughts about sports. If you have certain kinds of like maybe bad experience with the sports or whatever. Okay, I'm a gamer. I'm not a basketball. Like there is juice in here, and she's not squeezing any of it. Right? There's this juice in this fruit, and she's not squeezing any. So the mistake, or I guess the thing that she does instead of squeezing that fruit, is that she tries to say something witty, and then she doesn't succeed in that. So there are two options here. Either you, if you want to be, and a lot of these options sort of revolve around what your goals are too. But if you want to make this point more interesting, you can either squeeze that juice, or you get better at saying witty things. this is the second option is what most streamers have opted to do, which is that they are very, very, very good at being witty. And witty doesn't necessarily even mean that they are funny or smart, but it's that they know how to play off of what people say in a way that people expect of them. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna put who is a good streamer today? I don't know. XQC. I don't know anything about XQC, and I also don't know if I even particularly would like him. But what I do know is that he's very popular. This is what I know is that he's very popular. So let's look at him. Let's see what the way that he reacts. And I haven't seen this video at all, by the way, so I have no idea. This, maybe he defies all expectations that I have about what an interesting streamer could and should be, and maybe he is like maybe he's not interesting at all. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
Multiple days, multiple times, and his mom sees it happen, and she's just chilling there, like, oh, yeah, and he touched other people. Like, what the fuck are these people? Like, what is this of urgency, bro? Are you stupid?
Okay, this is perfect. This is wonderful. This is really great. So one, he
there, like, oh, yeah, and he touched other people. Like, what the fuck are these people? Like, what is this of urgency?
Okay, so he is reacting with emotion, right? He's getting angry.
Okay, what did he do today?
So now, okay, so something that I'm learning too is I'm learning like what are ways you can overcome this mistake that she made.
Days, multiple times, and his mom sees it happen, and she's just chilling there.
He's doing something really interesting here. He's sort of like projecting his own commentary, like his own inner thoughts about what these people are doing.
Like, oh, yeah, and he touched other people. Like, what the?
So he, again, I'm not saying these are commendable or valuable or admirable traits. What I'm saying is that he has succeeded in making something that is worth watching, at least to maybe not worth watching in the epsilon of greatness and of art, but it's worth watching in that he has created a community and he has created this space, and people enjoy being in that space, whether that space is good for them or not. Again, I really don't know much about XQC. I really don't know much about what he brings to the table, and like I don't like he's probably fine or whatever. I don't know.
Like, what is this of urgency, bro? Are you stupid?
Like okay. He tickled it. Like, did he put his full hand on it? Yeah. Okay, so he put his full hand on it, and then what? Did he like squeeze?
So these recommendeds are horrible. These are absolutely horrible.
Is it, or what did he do?
But it was like a squeeze tickle.
A deputy takes the resort manager aside to share what may have been going on in his lazy river.
So they're making allegations that a gentleman who's in the hot tub right now is touching,
Allegations, you motherfucker. How about you go get the guy, man?
So something that interesting is also happening too is that we actually learn a lot about XQC with the ways he reacts. Like, notice like the things that he gets angry about, the things that he turns into caricature. He's also, like okay, him eating here is perfect. This is like this is wonderful. This is really wonderful.
It's actually this gentleman getting out of the hot tub right now.
Look at the way in which he's invested in like what he's watching, and like here he tries to puzzle together what is happening. I'm not saying these things are comparable, by the way. These are two very different scenarios, but I'm like, there you can tell and there's a big difference between what, like the ways in which he sort of like goes along the thread of an idea. What like theory is behind that? Like, I'm still sort of trying to decipher. But that's like one example of something she did. So the
There's enough to detain and question.
there's another thing here too that is interesting is that he's also pausing the video to react, but he's pausing it on his own merits, on his own terms. He's not pausing it because a viewer indulged him to. So we're learning more about him because he's being a lot more active in his control of the view of the stream, instead of, you know, pausing because somebody is saying something so that you then how do we say this, so that you can be, you know, so that you can respond nicely, so you can respond kindly because you want to build a relationship with your audience. Of course, these things are important, but they get in the way of the stream. You become a lot more passive as a streamer, and XQC is incredibly active. This is also the difference between active voice and passive voice in writing, which is very interesting. So how do we make her more active? Like, how can she be more of an active streamer? Well, I think for one thing, this thing that she does where she pauses the game, that needs to stop. They pause the game to you know, listen to respond to an audience. That needs to stop. It needs to stop. What do we do instead? Because we need to respond to our audience, right? We want to have a relationship with our audience. We need that audience to enjoy watching you and watching the stream and feel like they're contributing in some way. So this is something that there are other streamers who have succeeded really well in this. Let's look at Doug, for example.
Quick 2-hour in and out Peggle adventure. You, my dear chatters, are trying to hype.
See, Doug, let's make him. I don't know. I've been playing a little bit of GTA 5 recently, so let's watch him play GTA 5 for a second. So, speaking of passive and active, my cat is meowing at me because she's hungry, and I now have to get up and I need to feed her. So I'm gonna be right back. Okay, hello, I'm back. Bye, Mercedes. Okay.
We solve problems that no one has has. Today I tried to
So we're gonna watch just a little bit, Doug.
using only voice commands. Now the goal of this challenge is to get from the town of Chumash up here down this long stretch of freeway all the way to the Ferris wheel on the dock. And you win once you've driven your car off of the docks at the end. But you can only control the car by using voice commands, meaning that I have to set up specific words to do something in the game itself. To start out, we created and named a few initial voice commands so that saying the
Okay, let's just skip to this.
Dong's working pretty well, right? Oh, right? This is going surprisingly smoothly so far. Dong.
His old overlay was interesting, by the way.
Left. It's a hard G. Left. Left. Right. Right. Dong. Oh shit. Left. Left. Now you do have to turn left here onto the freeway. Okay, we just gotta get back on the freeway. Drake. Ooh, no. Ooh, dong. Left. We're taking the scenic route. Left. Ooh, let's just stay on the beach, I guess. Dong. Right. Now, if you try going on the beach.
Let's see if there's.
No. Stop. Fuck. Right? No. Why is it driving? Stop. Fuck. Fuck. What the fuck? I didn't even say anything, dude. Now, at this point, it had become clear that the car wasn't really cutting it. It just gets destroyed incredibly fast. And instead...
Okay, so here's what I'm noticing. Is that there are times for playing, and there are times for interacting with the chat. He separates those two.
Something sleek, something modern, something built for voice commands. I think we should try a new vehicle.
And what's interesting to me is that this kind of mimics or parallels how, you know, professors talk and react. What they'll do, they don't just let questions flow uninterrupted. Sometimes they do, but most of the time what they'll do is they will have teaching moments and then they'll have their asking questions moments. So there's another interesting parallel there.
Help. We could try with a motorcycle. That might work. An army trailer? Wow. Okay. Got an Airbus. Okay. So we got bus as an option. I'm voting for bus. Lesson 3. Use a bus. All right, everybody. Let's get you to class. Let me line up.
And I think this might be
Field trip.
either a sub only, or this was like done when he was newer to streaming. I don't know. This is like, it's interesting how few comments there are.
I'm loving it. Let me see if there's a yellow. I think that works. Here we go. Let's go, class. Dong. Dong. I think that works. Here we go.
So that's something that he did last. So like in some of his streams, what he'll do is he will. Thanks for 7 years of Doug. Did he retire? He might have retired. I actually don't know. He had moments. He sort of split his streams in half. He had moments when the chat, where he uses the chat, or he talks to the chat between gaming, but the type of game that he's playing, or while he's playing, he's not reading the chat at all, like at all. And what I find interesting is that this might seem sacrilegious to not talk to the viewer at all, but he justifies it. He justifies not looking at or not reading what the chat has to say. So like, let's sort of think about like there's the idea of like etiquette, and there's this idea of socialness, right? The kindness, being a good person. And part of that idea comes with the baggage of responding to people when they talk to you. This is like a thing that is law. This is law. Like, let's call this like a divine law or divine rule. You want people to respond. You want to respond to people as they talk, because this is the right thing to do. We want to acknowledge that everybody's a human being. But doing this gets in the way of your art. It gets in the way of your work. It gets in the way of your stream and the quality of your stream. So what do? You have to justify it. You justify that sort of that sin, let's call it a sin, of ignoring people, ignoring your audience by creating something, by having a content or a stream or something that not only is interesting, but provides a good excuse for the streamer to not read the chat. So for the example here is that when Doug was doing this stream,
Hey, this is Doug.
you drive using only your voice. He's literally driving the game. Like the type of game that he's making himself play demands his full attention, his complete full attention. He is demanded of that, and so we as a viewer, we as a chatter, we are going to forgive him for not reading the comments, not reading the chat. We're not going to look at this and say he's being a bad person, or he's being ignorant, or he doesn't, he's not taking care of the chat properly. What we're going to do when we see this is we're going to say, like, Doug, like you got this, Doug. We believe in you. I believe in you. That's what we're going to say. So I think that in the sort of spirit of this, I think a way to make your stream content more interesting if you're doing something is that the thing you have to provide reasonability into committing to the thing you're doing. Like you have to, and I don't even think you have to work that hard. It just needs to be something that you personally believe in and that you personally invest in. Like if I personally believe in let's say like doing homework assignments, and that this doing homework assignments and finishing it in this time frame is law to me, then even though I might be ignoring the chat, it is forgiven because I'm doing something that I wholly commit to. I'm doing something that to me is it is believable that this thing to me is important enough that I can ignore the chat for. Like in this case, Doug is having fun. It's kind of what he's doing. That's how he justifies this. It's because this is fun for him and it's also fun for us to watch. So there's a double whammy.
I didn't even say anything, dude. Now at this point, it had become clear that.
So maybe this is like like if you can find something that is fun for you to do, that is fun to watch, and also demands your attention. Either you convince yourself that it demands your attention, or the game itself can only be played with demanded attention, then you can sort of create this sort of phase in your work where you're not being slowed down by your audience, and your audience can forgive you or accept you for that. So that's one way to do it. And then we see how XQC does it is another way to do it.
Okay, so he
where
put his full hand on it, and then what? Did he like squeeze it, or what did he do?
It's so fucking weird.
But it's like a squeeze tickle.
A deputy takes the resort manager aside to share what may have been going on in his lazy river.
So
This is like amazing. I don't know why. I'm like perplexed by this stream. It's no wonder that people watch him. So I think the lesson here, like the thing to really like understand and learn, is that when when you're streaming, I think it is good to know what is it that your viewer is there for. Is the viewer there for the gameplay? Is the viewer there to learn about you, or is the viewer there to see you interact with your audience? Those are kind of like those are three things I nailed down. There might be more reasons, or you know, those reasons might be more similar than I think. But having that understanding of what it is that like what you want the viewer to focus on, and putting that above all else, is probably key to creating a stream that other people want to watch.
Break? Too much suspense for you? Well then, will you take a load off and chat with me a bit? No.
I think between these two streams, these are like two really great case studies.
So we have some concerns that I'd like to talk to you about.
That's not hearsay.
Would you mind coming just around the corner here?
I think an interesting thing that's happening here too is that I think the viewer here in this instance is, I think the viewer is projecting themselves onto onto XQC.
The deputy reads Bill his rights and learns that he's here from
So
Rhode Island on vacation.
There's some concerns.
he's always drinking something. He's always eating something. It's hilarious.
You might have been making inappropriate comments.
Like, and what is he eating too? That's the thing that really gets to me. It's like, is he eating like dog food?
Were you at any point maybe accidentally swimming too close to somebody? Were you? Did you run into anybody that you're not that you can remember?
What is he doing here? Like, there's something he's tapping into that just absolutely captivates me. Is there an example of XQC playing games? That's what I'm interested in hearing now. So sometimes I guess he plays Overwatch. Schoolboy Runway. Here he plays Splatoon 3. I want to see him play a single player game. Maybe Schoolboy Runaway is a single player game. I think it is.
I got it. I'm coming. I got it.
Now there's something else here too that we should acknowledge, which is that XQC does have an audience, and the way he streams just is like, he can't read every comment even if he wanted to. It's actually, I think, for his benefit, but that is also another way in which that expectation is forgiven. So how do, as a beginner stream, how can you overcome that? I don't know. So there's only so much we can learn from. I mean, we can learn a lot, but there's only so much we can learn from comparing the lowest and the highest. We should also be looking at like intermediate streamers and seeing what they're doing.
I got it. I do stay while she's gone. And feed the doggy.
Like, I think something that I'm interested in is actually like, what did XQC do in his early streams? Like in his very first streams, like what was he doing there? And I think that we might be able to learn a lot.
This is not. It's just the monitor.
But you know, you see here, and he was, you know, he was making good.
Hey X, how can you watch this video of my dad? It would mean a lot to him.
He was getting good viewership at this time.
Well, just taking into account, this is.
But here he's watching old clips of himself. Like his first stream. Like, I want to see his very first stream. Okay. I got it. Okay. Okay. He was really good at Overwatch. I think, or he's really good at video games. He gets mad.
I'm just done with the game. He gave himself armor like a fucking armor-smelling iron dwarf from the fucking cold north, dude. Nice. Did you guys see it? He gave himself 3 packs of armor like a fucking engineer, dude. Alright, I'm here. We're doing this. No, this is stupid. No, fuck it. I'm done. This is balanced. How is this okay? How is this okay?
I need heals. Res me. Beautiful.
This is a joke. No, it actually is a joke though. Like, and all jokes aside, like I always say that these things are a joke when they're not. That's a pure joke. If I've ever seen one.
It's not even that good, dude. Why is everyone like?
This is first of all, this is making me. I miss Overwatch. This is making me want to play Overwatch. It's the very first thing I noticed about this. And I've thought about it, actually. I've thought about doing more... Just playing more Overwatch. Maybe seeing, you know, if there's space for me to play Overwatch on stream. I've thought about it. I don't really yet know. I think maybe what Overwatch could be good for me, actually, is it could be good for me sort of like tapping into my dogginess. Because when I'm in my sort of like serious mode, it's hard for me to like do that. When I'm in my goob mode, it's very easy for me to do that. So that's something for me to consider. He's also a great improviser. So that's thing number 2 is good improv. And the only thing that XQC is doing, he is just very, very good at moving around, sort of like tapping into his thoughts, or like really being stream of consciousness. Like this thing he does here. Let's go water the plants and gather tomato. Actually, that might be from something, I don't know. But this is hilarious. He's really good at being mad.
Also, positives for an LME.
Hey, did you use last game, Evie?
I feel bad he's watching that. That's so cringy, dude.
Don't you Our soldier. I killed Valkyrie at one point and I killed 3 of you. It just followed you into the room, killed you, killed your soldier and your Joker. It's hilarious.
Okay, this is hard, dude.
Soldier never leaves you right.
This is actually really cringy.
Because he
I can't watch this. I can't watch it. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm gonna finish after the game, but this is really high. I can feel it. Tim's like.
Okay, now I'm just sort of like sitting, and now I'm just basically just watching SQC. I'm just extremely fascinated by this line in particular. Really struck with me. This thing he does here is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. Let's go water the plants and gather the tomatoes. How is that not divine? Like, how is that not like that's something that's straight out of Dropout. That's something straight out of comedy. Okay, so here's sort of my tasks for me. I'm saying 1, learn to sing. 2, learn to be funny. Those are I think some tasks I can do myself that I don't have to worry about on stream. And the reason why those tasks are really important for me to learn by myself and not on stream, even though I want to also show people that this is something that you learn as well. But the sort of priority here for me is making learning at all seem engaging. Learning like I want the things that I'm really good at learning, like those that will be much easier for me to make engaging, and I don't have time or the voice to be streaming everything as much as I would love to. Maybe I think the knowledge that I accrue on how to sing and how to be funny, the knowledge that I accrue from that will end up presented in the streams. And maybe I can like use that to guide me. So those are some of the truths that I'm learning. And then I guess the third thing here is that he's really good at Overwatch.
It just gets destroyed.
So there's a skill that he is exuding confidence in. Not Doug, sorry. I meant XQC. And this makes you root for him. Are we rooting for Doug here? We are, but we're rooting for him in a different way.
Alright, everybody, let's get you to class. Let me line up. Field trip. Alright, fucking field trip themed stream. I'm loving it. Let me see if there's a yellow. I think that works. Here we go. Let's go, class. Dong. Satan. You know, actually, they have custom skins in this game. All right, kids. Real. Right. Ooh, right. Left. Okay, there's the on-ramp.
So there is skill in here that is exuded in a lot of different ways. I think the things that I do are a little bit closer to how I sort of see Doug, or I feel more familiar with how Doug exudes skill than how XQC exudes skill, because XQC is just good at Overwatch. Like, he's just good at Overwatch. He's good at video games. He's good at video games in a way that I don't care to be, because I care about being good at too many things. Doug is not just like he is bad at this thing that is sort of like nobody is good at. So that's a way in which you can root for him. It's like, you know, controlling. It's like this is a ridiculous scenario, and he's exuding skills in other ways. He's exuding programming skills, the presentation skills. All of these skills are demonstrated here. The actual thing that you're watching doesn't need that much skill. So in terms of like what, you know, the kind of content XQC is providing here, like, he's not necessarily inspiring me to get better at Overwatch, but that may be because I also don't want to be as good at Overwatch as this person is. This is to me a really extreme skill that I don't really care to master. This might be more in line with something that I feel I can sort of push the sort of scale of learning a skill. I can sort of push it into this envelope where it is not an insurmountable skill, but it does require, you know, it is uncertain. This feels a lot closer to creating art, is what I'm trying to say. Hi, Mariners. Hello. This is like so I'll tell you what it is that I'm doing, which is that I am basically I'm trying to figure out what like theory exists behind creating an interesting stream. Is kind of what today's stream is about. So like something I said earlier a couple times, that I think this is like the worst kind of stream, because I should have done this for homework. I should have like figured out what a good stream looks like for homework so that I can stream the things that I want to stream. You know, like if I wanted to have a writing stream, I would stream that. And do like figure out what makes a good stream, in my own time. However, I just didn't have time to do that this weekend, which is my excuse. But I don't think that's a good excuse. Like I think I should have I don't think this is a good kind of stream. That being said, like maybe the fact that this is like the worst kind of stream, maybe this sets the bar so low that I can sort of like really be free to sort of do things that I'm not normally used to doing and be able to explore more. Like I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to do a stream that is like this sinful. It just is also sinful. So um the hope is that maybe I can impart some knowledge on people who maybe are also streamers or just like find something like this interesting. Uh where just sort of, like really what I'm trying to see is I'm trying to figure out like what are like common beginner streamer mistakes and what are ways in which the top dogs, these guys, how do they overcome it. So you if you want to like I think I had a pretty good sort of session, just like going through her videos and understanding what it is that she needs to improve on, and then going through Doug and X2C's videos and seeing how like what are the ways in which they are able to sort of overcome those obstacles. So I would actually, if you're interested in that, I would encourage you to rewatch this video, at least like, around this time. We're just like, going through the VOD and seeing if there's anything you can pull from that. I would actually maybe like, like I think there's actually good content that I just described. But I would just sort of like keep pushing forward in that direction. So
Anybody that we knock over with our bus, Jesus could probably heal.
Now that I've like sort of gone through sort of like her like it's like comparing her, by the way, this streamer, I also said this earlier, but like I don't know this streamer. I have no idea who this streamer is. She was just recommended to me, so this is not a critique on her. This is not like, I mean, it is a critique on her, but it isn't at all trying to put her down or say she's a bad streamer by any means. Like by any means. I just use her as an example because I when I was watching her stream, just sort of like casually, I realized my brain started making all these connections. And then something that like you as a writer, Mariners, you might appreciate is that there is a parallel between like an active voice and like using active voice versus passive voice in writing, and then bringing an active streamer versus a passive streamer. And I think she's an example of someone who's a lot more of a passive streamer as opposed to XQC, who I find someone as much more of an active streamer. And the ways in which passivity and activity sort of manifest is a little bit different, but I think that there is sort of like this sense of control, and I think Doug exudes this too, where they really control their own pacing and they control the moments in which they interact with their audience. They make it kind of very clear, this is the moment to interact with my audience, this is the moment to write or not to write, sorry, to create or to play games or whatever. Like while Doug is playing the game, he's not interacting at all with his viewers. He can't, because the game is built in a way in which he must use his voice. So he can't even read, he can't look at the chat even if he wanted to. XQC, I think, does something similar. Actually, I haven't even seen an instance yet where XQC talks to the audience, which is funny. But he is not ever really slowed down by his audience in a ways in which like she is. Like when her audience sort of talks to her, she'll pause the game, she'll wait, and then she'll read what the audience has to say. And this is like what we expect from somebody, because this is like what it means to be like a good person, in quotes, right? Like what it means to be like a kind or to have etiquette. This is kind of like what we expect, but it goes against the flow of the stream in a way that is very jarring. So like I'm seeing like there are ways in which other creators overcome that, and they all have their own solutions, which I think is interesting. But the point is not to say, you know, never engage with the audience, don't talk to your audience. That's not it. The point is that doing so will interfere with the content that you're creating. Let's say you're and this is what happened to me last time, is I was like if I'm trying to do something, I get immediately distracted by the audience. And that's fine. That's not a bad thing, but it does dilute the focus of the stream. And so if you want to create something that demands to be watched, that demands to be seen, and that is at least what I'm trying to focus on. Like I want to create something that when people watch, it's like they can't look away from because they're so invested in what they're consuming. If I don't create that, I have to be really explicit and careful about what exactly it is that I want the audience to be paying attention to. I can't let that experience be created for itself. Otherwise, I become a lot more passive. So like here's like a good example of that where you're watching this, and as a viewer, and this is like, you know, this is what creating art is like, right? But like as a viewer, there's a focus here, and the focus is in the game. And you're rooting for Doug, and I talked a lot of reason about why you're rooting for him. And like all like the ways in which Doug exudes skill here, I think is interesting because he's like a skilled programmer, he's a skilled presenter, but the actual thing that he's creating, the actual thing that he's doing, there's not a lot of skill that goes into what he's doing. Like the you know, driving a GTA truck with only his voice doesn't require a lot of skill. This this requires a lot more skill. So there's like a reason to watch it, that you are impressed as you watch it in like a very different way from this. And so what I have to decide for myself is like, do I want to stream something more like XQC where I'm exuding skill, or do I want to stream something more like Doug where I am like this like, you know, I'm trying something new and I'm seeing what happens. And I think maybe the answer is that there's going to be a little bit of both. Some of my streams are going to be a little bit more like XQC where the main focus is me exuding skill. This could be my art streams. If I can be a good enough artist where you watch me and it's like you just feel compelled to watch because of my art is so good. This could be my art streams, but this can't be my writing streams because I'm not good enough at writing yet. So if I am like, if I try to do this with my writing streams, like things will kind of start to collapse a little bit, or at least it'll be less interesting, I think. So here, so here the writing content, or like the content, the main content is the Overwatch gameplay, but it's supplemented by his character, like the ways in which he gets, like, look at the way he moves, right? Like it's like look at the way he like talks, look at the way that he sort of exudes himself. This is like the nice little icing on this like Overwatch cake. Whereas here, there's such a fundamentally different relationship that is happening. Where it's like the content is actually Doug. Like the main thing, because you're rooting for him to succeed. So he is kind of like the main focus here. It's like it's the storytelling that he's like communicating, and he's building a story here. And here he is not building a story. So there's something interesting there too so I'm also learning this too. I'm figuring this out on like in real time as well. Is that Doug streams are very story based. Like you're when you jump in a Doug stream, you're just wondering, where in the story are we? Especially like these kinds of streams. You know, like, are we at the middle? Are we at the beginning? Are we at the end? Like, you know, where should I sort of invest my time in? And that is just not what is happening with XQC. And here you are witnessing skill. You are engaging in admiration for what he's doing. And so when you're watching a stream like this, and I'm going to play a little bit of this, this is a lot more diluted than that.
Multiplayer should be super fun. We should try it
some of this is you're watching this person, you know, playing the game, okay? And so some of it comes from like you might be maybe engaged in her skill, maybe if she is skillful, or just her playing the game. But also something she does a lot is that she also, like, as she's playing, she will be pausing a lot to like read comments. She interjects in her own pacing to sort of like read what comments are saying. And so there's like some of me is watching this maybe for the game. And then some of me is watching this maybe for her interaction with the comments. And then some of me is watching this because I'm rooting for her. But like none of these are really coalescing in a way that fits together. They're all kind of like pulling from each other. Like I might be rooting for her because she's not that good of the game. Is the thing. I mean, she's okay, right? She's like probably good, but she's not doing what XQC is doing. So when I'm watching this, I can't like I want to root for her, but she's like a little good at the game, so I can't root for her in the same way that I'm rooting for Doug, where this thing he's doing is like impossible and like weird and crazy. So I can't root for her in this same way. And then when like, so I might be watching it for her, but the things that she says are then diluted by her need to respond to all these comments. So like when she, I sort of had an example here where, let's see, I think it was like right here.
I don't think I'm gonna. That's called the skull splitter.
I think she says it right here.
That I think is number 4. So basketball's not your sport either. What gave you the impression I was sporty at all? I'm playing video games.
Okay, so I pointed this out before earlier in the stream, but I'm going to point it out again because I think it's a good point. This person says, so basketball is not your sport either, is what he says right here in the bottom right. Also, my face is kind of covering it. No, okay. I said that I made that point last time too, so I'm gonna do something to fix it. But her face is covering it. And her response is she said that will give you the impression that I was sporty. I'm a gamer. So here, unlike what something like XQC would do, which is XQC, fascinating individual, by the way. He's fascinating. He responds with emotion. Like he really unveils himself, and he had a really great example here where he was like reacting to content here, and it's like he starts to like give voices to like he starts to like trying to understand people's thoughts, or just he acts is what I'm trying to say. Okay, here's a good example here.
I'm just confused.
Who he is or what his...
I have no recollection. I didn't want her to be
for the past 2.
but today.
Like right here.
Are you stupid?
Like the tickled it almost kind of.
Okay. He tickled it. Like, did he put his full hand on it?
So again, I don't really know what this video is about. I didn't pay attention to that. But what I'm paying attention to is the way in which he reacts.
Yo, I'm actually so confused.
Today, regardless of what we do, are you guys gonna... What we do?
He's so ridiculous. Just the way that he eats is so ridiculous. And that's
Buddy, there's enough to detain and question, if not even arrest the guy already. Like
here he's asking a lot of questions about what he's playing a different game. So it's not fair to compare these two. He's not even responding to comments, he's responding to the video. But what he is doing, he's being very active about it. Like he's deciding exactly when to pause his content. He's not letting the viewer kind of pause the content for him, by pausing whenever somebody says something to read what somebody else says, he's making the active decision here to lay out exactly when to interrupt the stream. And
Playing in the pool, probably doing it to more people. Like this is an active scene. You're more.
it's funny, he just used the word active here, but he is really injecting his own personality, his thoughts, and his emotions into it. And so that's a way in which when he pauses the stream, he like, yes, we're pausing it, but we're forgiving it because we now get to see what he is saying, and we're like interested in what he has to say. In this case, she gives, so basketball is not your sport either. Instead of revealing, she could choose to reveal more about her. She kind of did, but like she kind of also gave a jokey answer to it, and she's not very good at jokes. It was like an okay joke. It was a fine joke. But in this instance, like if I'm rooting for her, I might want to know more about her. But when I ask her this, or when somebody asks her this question, I don't get to learn more about her. So there's less for me to root for. I learn now that she's not very, very good at sports, but it kind of ends there. Like what does she mean by she's not very good at sports? Like, did she have a bad experience with sports? Like, is there something that she wants to try to prove? What is there to learn about her? I'm not really getting much from that. And so like my interest in this stream. So like if I'm interested in the gameplay is not that great. If I'm interested in the streamer, then I'm not learning that much about her. If I'm interested in the, in the engagement, like interactions with her and her viewers, like that might be fun, but like there's just like when you have lower viewership, that's really difficult to find like a good relationship, like, or just a good way to like sufficiently engage. Like I would have to be interested in not just her, but I'd be interested in Nathan Shadows as well, and in like in this person. And there's a story that's kind of trying to be built there, but the story isn't leading anywhere. That's a lot of words. That's a lot of words to say that like these are just like beginner mistakes. And of course, I have my own share of beginner mistakes. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. I make beginner mistakes all the freaking time. All the freaking time. This is my, like this is I'm a beginner too. So of course I would make beginner mistakes. And a lot of courage. This must have taken a ton of courage for him to create this video. And so I am. So this is not going to be another stream where I look at my own content. By the way, this is not that. But what this is it is a sort of like an exploration of what does it take to really make a stream that people want to watch, that people are interested in watching. There's only so far that you can get from just streaming all day every day and making streams that are, that are maybe just about yourself, just being yourself, or just doing what you want to do. That can get you pretty far. But streaming is an art form. And like all art forms, you can improve your art form with theory and with practice and with study and comparison, looking at what other people are doing and copying them, or maybe even stealing from them. So if I want to like improve because this is something that I'm interested in. It's like I'm interested in, and I'm not just interested in streaming. I'm interested in learning how to stream well. And part of that mission or part of that goal is going to necessitate that I actually look at what other people are doing and just steal from that. Just like steal, just look at different things and just say, okay, I'm going to borrow this, I'm going to borrow this, I'm going to borrow this, and not even feel bad about it. Because it's easy, because, like it's easy to feel bad about it because then you want to be original. But if you end up just like copying, yeah, it's part of the game. You want to, say like I did this all myself, and there's some of that is commendable, but also like it is not commendable to use that as an excuse to not create or to not do the thing that you want to do. Let's look at examples of like animation where this has happened. Like freaking what's that Jafar, like not the Aladdin movie, not like the clone. It wasn't a clone, it was like the movie similar to Aladdin. What was it called? Was it The Thief of the Baghdad? Or Arabian Nights? I think it was Arabian Nights. 1001 Nights. No. Anyway, okay. There was a movie that was like similar to Aladdin that took forever to make, and it wasn't that good. But there was a lot of expertise in it, and some people like it because of the expertise, but the movie itself wasn't that good. And there's stuff I would steal from other variety streamers, and there's stuff I wouldn't steal for streams. Yeah. Like it's okay. I've kind of like got lost in the sauce there a little bit, so forgive me. But the point here really is like I think I would like to encourage an environment where we can be maybe more open to looking at other creators, looking what other people are doing, and just like saying it, like basically giving critique, giving feedback, and then of course also applying it ourselves is the important step too. But there's like I feel, because I'm feeling it right now. It's like I was sort of afraid to show off this streamer because I don't want people to dogpile on her, even though I don't have that big of an audience for that to happen. But I don't want people to dogpile on her, and I don't want her to think that I think her content is bad or that she's a bad streamer. But this is like a necessary step for me to get better at streaming, other than just like hacking at it myself and doing it over and over, just like exploring it myself for like years and years. And I could do that, but I don't want to stream forever. I have plans above streaming. I want to like do really grand projects, and I don't want to invest so much time into figuring out the minutia of streaming when I could instead learn from others. And I think learning from others is good. I think it's healthy. I think it's like important to validate something as an art form. So like for whatever reason, I was like afraid to like show this person's work. I think there's like some negative stigma around something like this, but hopefully what this can also lead to, if I do get popular, is like when I show other people's work, it's also a little bit of like a shout out too, right? Like I am also like kind of shouting out this streamer who otherwise you probably wouldn't have known of, and I didn't know about the streamer beforehand. It's like I'm saying like, hey, this person exists. I'm giving them a light, and I'm not calling them out. I'm not saying that they're bad at it. In fact, I'm saying the opposite. I think they are a good streamer. They're just making a lot of like it just it is educational to reveal some of the things that she is doing, because I think learning to be good at stuff is love. Like that is a version, that is a way to love something. Like if you love streaming, you can show your love for it by trying to get better at it, and not just like doing the same thing over and over again and then expecting something different to happen. So, and I say that because like there's just so many, there's a lot of streamers out there. There are a lot of streamers. There are a lot. And I think most streamers would like to be more successful. That is my understanding, is that most people who stream, would appreciate more viewership, or would appreciate more just like more engagement. And it is just something that is very easy to feel demotivated by. How do I get more engagement? Like, how do I do this in a way that feels true to me? And there's a lot of, content out there that's like, if you want to become a high value streamer, if you want to like have high viewership, you must do XYZ. You must do this and this and this, and then you will get your golden ticket. And like, nobody wants to do that. Right? Like, no, like what a horrible way to stream, where you say, okay, now I'm gonna follow these exact things, and I'm gonna, do all this to maximize my viewership. Nobody wants to do that. And that's not the point, right? It's not to say you have to do this. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, you can find ways to improve your streams that feel fun and feel true to you, and have faith that, like, as your streams are improved, that's what's going to get you viewership. That's what's going to get higher engagement. I think in writing space in particular, I think there's two camps: writers who stream and writers who write. Oh, sorry, and streamers who write. Yeah. I think I'm in the second camp, by the way. Is that, like, I would see myself as somebody who is a streamer who writes, and the sort of interesting thing is that you, like, eventually, like, you want to be able to do both, right? You want to be able to stream well and write well, and so they're kind of both working on opposite angles, or opposite sort of sides of the same game, and eventually they might coalesce into something that looks a little bit similar. But it is interesting how there is, like, this battle of, like, you want to, at least for me, there's a battle of, like, I want to get better at writing, but I also want to get better at streaming. And I don't know anything about streaming, but I am more of a streamer than I am a writer, clearly, because I wrote a little bit this week and I streamed a lot this week. So, like, clearly I have higher enjoyment and I have higher, satisfaction with streaming than anything else. So in, like, sort of like in that effort, I think what I want to do as a creator myself is I want to show people the process of improving, like, not just improving streaming, but also improving, right? Like, improving anything. But it's like, how do like, if you want something, let's say I have this goal, I want to be a successful streamer. So you have that goal, there are so many ways to do that are better than just, streaming. And that's not to say that, like, only, like, just streaming is a bad thing. Like you should, like, you have to stream. You have to love streaming. First of all, you have to love streaming, and you have to, like, enjoy it. And so it's important to, like, only just stream without having any expectations, or without really trying to improve. But, like, it is also possible to improve it. It is possible to improve the things that you do. And the process of improving it is the same as the process of improving your writing, or the process of improving your art. All of this is just a skill, just like it's art skills. And like any art skill, half the battle is the skill itself, is the discipline itself, and then the other half the battle is your creativity, your personality, what it is that you want to say and what it is that you want to do. Because streaming is an art form. It is an art form. And I see a lot of people struggle with art. And we don't have to. Like, I don't think we have to struggle with art. Like, the reason we struggle with it is because the world is not built to facilitate art improvement easily. That's why we struggle with it. But the world doesn't have to be like that. The world can change. So, like, my expectation, Mariners, is that, like, I will end up, like, the quality of my streams will end up improving a lot in the next couple of weeks. And my expectation is that I will, like, I will grow faster than I anticipate, is my expectation. Because there is something that I'm very good at, and it is production value. It is improving my craft. It is, learning, observing, and really like committing to something is something that's a skill that I've been able to accomplish a lot over and over and over again. Like I did it with art. I started learning how to draw 5 years ago. I didn't, when I was like 21 or 20. I only been streaming for like a week or two now. Let's say like about 2 weeks. Let's say this is like my second week streaming, or I guess this will be my third week streaming, but I've been streaming for 2 weeks. And I think that my streaming quality is already better than, like, I would say definitely not better than average, but I would say like better than like most people who do it as a hobby. I'm already sort of reaching something that is on a higher level than that, and that to me is not a surprise, because this is like what I do. Is I get good at things. This is my skill. This is the thing that I have mastered doing. And so if I have the mission to get better at streaming, I will take that mission and I will accomplish it. So it's like, look, for example, at this stream, I just jumped into a random stream. Like, I think I already create more interesting content that this person is creating. And this is not an indictment on this person. This is not an indictment on, like, it's not because I think they're bad at streaming. It's not because of any of that. It is because, this is expected from me. Like, this is just something that I, like this, like, for what either this is a curse or this is or a gift or whatever. And this is what I expected, is that like I will explode very quickly, in terms of quality, not necessarily in terms of viewership, but my expectation on that front is that as my quality gets better, my viewership will, viewers will come, is sort of my expectation. That's the sort of like faith I have. And in fact, I have so much faith in that like that is how you get engagement. And if I think that, like, to anybody who is really struggling with, and I say, like, I'm talking about streamers here, but like really any art form, it's like if you're an artist on social media and you're struggling with likes, your art probably isn't that good. And I don't mean that in terms of like only good art or this, like only a certain kind of art can get likes or whatever. It's just like if you can paint like Leonardo da Vinci, if you can paint like how Picasso could paint when he was 16, like if you can paint like that, you will get some engagement. You will get above average engagement. Like you will. Whether you'll get, enough to make a career out of it, that's a different question entirely. But you will get some engagement, and that you will get enough engagement to be able to know how to then, like, what your next steps are, and to be able to like see what kind of content does better or not. You can't do that if you're a complete beginner, but you can do that if you have some engagement. And if you're just are really good at something, you will get some. Is the truth. And that's the hole that I see so many people fall into, is that they're not able to like get themselves to that really first like grunt of like quality. So I'm also like ready to eat my words. I'm ready to completely eat my words. But like this is something that excites me. Is that it excites me to see how far I can push myself is something that I love doing. So like I think this is just going to be just like kind of a matter of time before I start to see like genuine progress in my streaming engagement. So that's I think going to be my mission for this week. It's just like, okay, let's just improve the streams. Let's just improve the quality of the streams. Let's just see what we can do to make them look better, more appealing. See if there's anything I can share about what I learned.
No, they're gonna get me. They're gonna get me. Wait, where even are they? Oh.
Just 15,000 views. That's crazy.
Okay. Never count anybody out. I'm not unmuted. I'm not.
How does she have 15? What? Oh my god. Wait. No, she doesn't have 15,000. This is 4 days ago. It's Sunroku. What? Oh my god, it's the person who... Okay, so I think this is now just showing... Okay, I see Sunroku here. No, wait, no. Okay, I'm stupid. Okay, sorry. I thought this was like comments from this video. No, this was a comment on my stream. I don't know why I'm seeing comments from my stream here. It was like, why is Sunroku like in this chat? That's not what's happening. I'm just dumb.
If he's not gonna get me though.
Okay, that's hilarious.
But something Supergirl doesn't do is give.
How did this get... Wait, she's... Okay, who's real KDB? Sorry, I'm like fascinated in this. Just 15,000 viewers?
Have it. And then I guess we can do the blue. The blue's just not like that cool.
That's like at least 2 viewers. I know. How does she have 15? Okay, everything I just said is like defying my expectations right now because like, what is she doing? Okay, what is she doing to get 15,000 viewers? What am I not seeing?
He placed it somewhere else, and it's probably a trap. So I hope you have the fucking.
No, I shouldn't.
Okay, that's crazy. I am going to simply okay. I'm going to not think too much about this. I should watch one of these streams. This is insane to me that she's getting this much engagement. But like, no, I guess it makes sense. Once people like you, then you can kind of do whatever, and people will you know. And not to dismiss her work, I'm just not seeing anything here that like really demands my attention, which is like crazy that she's able to be this successful, which means that there is more to learn about, you know, what it takes to make a good stream. But I do want to sort of like, I want to consider the category in Twitch. I spent a while looking at the writing and reading space. Particularly, typically the average viewer count any one time for your stream isn't over like 350 max. That is true. I counted this stream as part of the reading and writing stream, kind of strategically. One, because I wanted to see what would happen. And then two, it's because I like recognize that there might actually be a benefit to that. Like, because reading and writing is so niche, you might get different kinds of people who are looking at the reading and writing category. And maybe it's people who are like more committed to, or just more interested in this idea of self-improvement. So part of it was like a little, not strategic, but I wanted to, I guess a little strategic. Just like, I wanted to see what would happen if I labeled this as reading and writing. Just like, would I like, because I do think this kind of counts is a thing too. Is like, I also don't know what else this would be, but it's like this idea of like studying and like learning. There's another type of stream called co-studying, but that's not, I don't think that's not at all the kind of category that this is, because the co-studying stream is very much like, I'm quiet and you're gonna watch me, you know, you're gonna be here while I study, but you're, you know, we're not like talking. Like, it's very much not your engagement. Yeah, co-working is more for people doing writing sprints. It's a really strongly better than a game like Fortnite. Yeah, so that's like the thing that fascinates me. And in fact, on that note, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the reading and writing category, and I'm going to see what exists here. Because right now there's only 187 viewers in the whole reading and writing category, and one of them, I suppose, would be me. Possibly. Am I here? Yeah. I'm right here. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's see what else people are saying here. I'm always checking who's live when reading and writing. Yeah, kind of it, right? It's like it's a small enough category, and it's a type of category where there's always like individuals who are interested in I want to say mathy, like interested in like learning and skill. Like there like this is a type of category that really sort of that people enjoy. And reads historical documents, but he has 2 channels, one that's live and one that's on 24/7. Let me see. Is it Dolita? Is it that one? Usually is German. Do you know which one that is? Is it this one? Whoa, this is crazy. This is crazy. Oh my god, hello, streamer. So now I'm learning too. It's like I'm learning like what. Because admittedly I've never really went through the reading and writing category before. Like I never really like looked at what people are doing. So this is like fascinating. So I do it so often. Yeah, no, this is like I am seeing now like you know just literally like looking at all of these streams. Which one is catching my eye? I'm telling you which one isn't catching my eye. I'll tell you which one, and it's this one. This one is not catching my eye right now. My work is cringe and that's okay. I need to improve stream etiquette. Maybe the title was fine. The title might be fine. But actually, I don't know anything about whether the title was fine or not. I try to make my titles like more. Seems people are live right now. 5 writers for currently writing. Yeah. It's definitely like a more niche category than not that I realized, but like I am seeing now like what sort of exists here. Cypher, is Cypher the German guy? No, it's the here we go. Lord Star, greatly appreciate it. Enjoy the vibe. So he's on 24/7. Write hard, write well, write on. What is this stream? Let me see this guy. What's he doing? Okay, so I see sometimes he plays games.
I just find you just chill vibe, relaxing. I appreciate you. I enjoy you. Yes.
Why is I'm playing on 24/7 for ad revenue? Whoa. See, like that gives him a okay. That's unfortunate, but that gives him a story. That gives him like a reason for us to like root for him. Always very helpful with the writing stuff. Yeah, this to me feels like an example of maybe we were saying earlier where he's like a writer who streams as opposed to a streamer who writes.
Write a compelling story. There are 3 things you're going to want to look into. Developing a strong character. The right man for the job or the wrong one to fish out a water story. Plot. That's your waypoints, your roadmap, your structure, the bones of the story. And then the setting. which goes overlooked all too often. Write a compelling setting into your story. When you combine those three things, you can develop very strong conflict. So
very, very interesting. I'm going to be looking. I'm going to be following him because I want to study him. I want to see like sort of like what he does, and maybe this guy too. Although there's a language barrier, which is unfortunate. Oh wait, it just said Serious Scoop just followed. What? Can I clip that? I want to hear that. Serious Scoop. Oh my god. Oh, that's me. That's me. That's my name. So I think just immediately, if we're thinking about something like a thumbnail, by the way, like we're thinking like a thumbnail, immediately this hits more. This hits more. I'm seeing right away, and part of the reason I was going with this because I wanted to make it easy for myself. And now I'm seeing like when I'm looking at these videos, like all of like the reading and writing videos, and seeing who's live, this just like immediately grabs my you're annoying because you can't choose them. So you kind of have to work with that, right? That's the game. Yeah, you work with it. And I'm seeing here, and like this immediately makes me see, okay, there's something happening here that I'm interested in. So I'm gonna revert that right now, but now I know that this is like important. And the reason why I'm reverting is because I don't want to give the false impression that I am doing something that I'm not. But I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing that like what I was doing here, because this was what I did last week too. I'm thinking about when, because the last time I did my writing stream on Monday, I think I might do mine, because I wouldn't do a writing stream this week. I just sort of sabotaged today's stream, somewhat intentionally, somewhat unintentionally, but regardless, I do want to do some writing this week. So now, but what I am seeing is, what I'm sort of gaining more confidence in, is that this is like more, it's bright, interesting with the dog. Yeah, there's like something happening there, right? And when you see all the other streams, especially if there was like like content there, like if there was, in fact, I can maybe even add content here just by literally just by like getting this and then pasting it here, and then I'm gonna push this in the back, and then okay. This is pretty crude. You know, but I could do something like this. I could. So like this immediately would probably make this more interesting to click on, like right away. So that now I know, like how for when I'm looking at this, especially this category, like how important something like that is, because that also kind of gives authority too. So that's an idea that I'll actually share with you right now, Mariners. I was one of the most streamers in the space being awesome. There's a few who are meant to be. Yeah. Like you kind of have to be. You kind of have to be a little like awesome to do something like a stream, like a reading and writing stream, right? That requires a lot more effort by default than something like a, let's say like a like Overwatch. Anybody can go, sort of boot up and play Overwatch. Anybody can just do that. Not everybody can just like start, like not everybody can just start a reading and writing stream. You have to have a little interest in that, and you have to, you know, desire that like specifically. And so like the sort of like the thing that happens as a result of that is your your what the heck was I trying to say? Like you, oh god. Oh no, I think I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, okay, yeah. If you are like if you're doing a reading and writing stream, you just are going to be more likely to have something more interesting to say. And these kinds of spaces I think might be really great, especially if you're thinking about not necessarily in terms of growth as like a growth in viewership, but growth as a creator. Because that's really what I'm trying to deliver is like how do you grow as a creator? Like I don't care about growing viewers necessarily. Like I see viewers as like a result of growing as a creator. Like if you create good work, you will get views. That's my very true belief. And so in that case, just what are the things that you do to become a better artist? Surrounding yourself in this space with other people who you like is a way to do that. And so like I think that's also like something that's really important about these kinds of spaces. Um so yeah. That's something that I should probably like this is my homework now. Is that I have to now like get to know some of these other creators and seeing what you know like this is a kind of sort of like just like how kind of how I got to know you. It's like the more I get to know these people, like the more like just the more I will become like a better artist. Tiffany Saw is also used by some people as a tactical way to grow. At least I know, which I don't like. Exactly. Like you have to do, like there's always perverse intentions to most things. Like when we write, we do want to make money and turn our work into a career. Like, not necessarily like a full-time career, but it would be nice to make money out of the things we write about. And so there is like this idea like networking, for example, is kind of like the same idea where it's like you're making friends, but like you're making friends contractually or kind of like in a way that facilitates your growth in like a very tactical way, not necessarily to like it's kind of a dirty way of getting to know people is like networking. And so I thought about that a lot, and the way that I flip that around is this. So let's network with streamers in a very aggressive way, which I personally can't stand. Exactly. And so here's how I flip this. And this is sort of my secret. Is that I think networking is a good excuse to make friends. Like I have to network. Okay. So and because I have to network, like, okay, that sucks. So what do I want? I want to make friends. And I want to make friends with people who I don't have a good reason to be friends with. Right? Like if I meet somebody, like all the time if I meet strangers, I'm like, I would love to be friends with this person, but I don't want to be weird. Right? Like I want to be friends with this person in the gym. This is true. Like there was a person at the gym and I thought she just looks like somebody I knew. And I was like, I want to get to know this person. Okay? But I didn't want to be weird because I'm a guy and she's a girl. And I'm also gay. So like that sort of standard perverse incentive wasn't there. And I still didn't want her to think that I was trying to, sort of just try to get into her pants. Right? I didn't want to give her that impression, even though it's not possible for me to give that impression. It's a really weird way. Like it's just, I can't just say that I want to be friends with you, and I have no reason to be friends with you other than you look like this one person. And that happens to me a lot with like just people. I'm like, I want to get to know this person, and I would love to just like say hi to talk to them, and I can't do that because it'll be weird. And so when I'm in networking mode, that I love it. I love it because it's like I get to throw all that out the window. It's like I can just be weird, I can just make friends with people who like I don't need an excuse. I already have the excuse. I'm networking. Okay, so now we get to be friends, right? So that's how I perceive that. That's how I think of networking. And I wish more people thought of networking like that. Because if we see networking as like a necessary evil, then like, okay, then it's a necessary evil. Then let's like admit that that's what we're doing, and now let's just use that as an excuse to do what we really want, which is to we want to be friends with more people, and we don't want to like necessarily have like a good or bad we don't always need a reason to make friends with someone, but we feel like we need to because otherwise people might assume our reason from being friends with someone, and sometimes what people assume is like harmful or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of my perspective. That's my take on networking. I don't complain about that because that's how they want to grow. I go into Strangers Trap because I'm interested in the people and what they're creating. Yeah, like that's the sort of like way that I see it, is like I want like a good excuse to like get to know more people. I want a good excuse to like you know see what other people are doing. And my excuse for that is my excuse to be like creepy is that I want to grow, which is true. Like that is the most true thing about me, is like I want to grow, and I want to grow my I want to become a more successful creator. And being in this space is in this niche, there is a tactic to it, right? So with that being out of the way, I can use that as an opportunity to just get to know weird people or fun people, or just like, just like kind of put myself out there and enjoy what other people have to say, and be like a little bit less lonely, right? Like those are the like that's what I get. That's my reward for making myself do this. And you know like that's what, again, like that's just what I wish more people saw it that way. Like I wish more people were, and I don't know what enables me to see it this way, because the I don't know if it's because I'm transparent about the fact that I'm trying to grow. Like that might be a part of it. I don't think that's a full story. I think that's a part of it. But like maybe like there are other things that I'm doing that I don't even realize that might be like giving signals that like I do genuinely want to get to know people, and I do genuinely want to be friends with more people, or follow more people, or interact with more people, even though it is aligned exactly with my goal. I don't know exactly what I do to help that impression that there is like genuineness and earnestness to what I'm doing. But I think I guess I don't know for sure if I give that impression, but I think I do, because like this is, I think I do because it is true, right? Like because it is true that like these things are true, that I there is a huge amount of earnestness to me wanting to get to know people. Like I just sort of trust that is exuded, that as a result I am doing something that other people pick up on. I guess I don't really know for sure if other people pick up on that, but I feel like I engage in too many interesting conversations, and I sort of like have too many people who like me. Like there's too many people who like to hear what I have to say for me to like just like for me to not admit that there is something that I'm doing that people like seeing. I think that but I think, and this might be incorrect, some streamers use a space being small as a way to go into a chat, be nice to streamers in chat, and hope that those people go to their chat. It might be incorrect, just in my opinion on it. Like, let me see if I can interpret what you're saying correctly. Way to go into a chat, be nice to streamers in chat, in hopes that those people go to their chat. And then, oh, okay. Like people, like you go to somebody else's stream and you chat and you're nice, and then you, in hopes that those people go into chat. So here's what I think is, like I'm glad you pointed that out, because I have some thoughts on that. Here's what I think is happening, because I'll tell you what happened when I went to your stream. Is that I saw your stream, Mariners, and I had the thought, I want to, I want this person to know that I am interested in seeing their stream. My sort of like whether what those, like, I don't know exactly like why I had that impulse, and maybe that's work on my end. Is like I don't know why I had that impulse to like to go on your stream for a bit. But I went on your stream, and the thought that I had was like I want to be courteous. Like, you've been on my stream a fair number of times, and so like I want to return the favor in whatever way I can, even though I also know that it isn't going to be like it's going to be it can't be in the same capacity. Because like there are too many things happening in my life. There are too many like ways in which I like I have to do a lot of work on my end to be able to, and maybe this is what I have to do, right? With the way that my life exists right now, I don't have a lot of setup to be able to like really engage in somebody else's stream, and maybe this is something that I just have to change. Like I have to like change about myself. Is because I do want to be on. I do want to support other people. I do want to be on other people's like Twitch, and like maybe I haven't yet discovered like what are ways in which I can do that. And there's also like there's a time issue and all that, but all those are excuses. Like me saying there's a time issue, or me saying that I'm busy, they're all excuses. Like the real excuse, or like the real reason, like deep down underneath all of that, is because I am not somebody who is like right now that interested in watching other people's streams without a lot of external motivation. And so I think this is something that I would like to change about myself. Like I think this is something that I want to like I'm seeing now, like that I would like to be this person. And I've changed myself before, right? I became a fitness person this year, and that wasn't me at all. I became an artist, and that wasn't me. I used to be an engineer, not an artist. I became, like now I'm a streamer, and I wasn't a streamer. So like I sort of have either like faith or just like, like if as I follow the things that feel important to me, like is the act of me being on your stream for a bit, like was that authentic? And I would say probably not. In fact, I would argue that, and this is something that I am really interested in, is like this idea of like using honesty and dishonesty at the same time, or like how they can both help you. And so that was like I would say an act of dishonesty, but like there is also truth in that I want to change my honesty. I want to change like the things that I prioritize right now, and the things that I feel I care enough about my goal of helping or of making people feel more empowered to create. That goal is so important to me that I will do anything to support that goal, and that means changing myself to to be a more active participant, or to spend time on other people's streams, and to find and to accommodate that. Right? It's not just spending time on your stream. It's like okay, I will now accommodate this time to spend time on other people's streams. I will like build this into my schedule and facilitate a life around this. If that is what it takes to inspire people and to help other people, like grow and become better artists, and then that is what I will do. So like whether it's like authentic or not, or whether it's insincere or not, like that's less interesting to me, because I think we all do things that are insincere and we all do things that are inauthentic. And in fact, I don't think it's possible to do something that isn't inauthentic. Like it's not possible to do something that isn't it's not possible to live insincerely at least some of the time. So instead of like wondering about whether these things are like, no one has to be nice to me, it's fine. Hi, Naughty Dog, how's it going? So like I don't know how much of that you caught, but what I like, so something that I'm interested in is like it's really like understanding and exploring this idea that like, just to me what matters is this similar to the networking thing, where it's the intent behind the actions really don't matter to me, because often when we do certain actions, it's because we want to change our authenticity. Like if we start like if we never apologize to someone in our lives, like we're a horrible person and we never apologize to someone. And also, by the way, maybe you can use this as like a writing technique, is to think about this kind of stuff. But let's say you're a horrible person, you never apologize. Your first apology is going to be insincere as fuck. Okay? Your first apology is going to be fake. And the reason you're going to apologize isn't because you're sorry. The reason you're going to apologize is because you want things to improve, because you want bad things to stop happening. So you apologize the first time, and it's just not, there is no possible way that apology is going to be real. And like that's okay, actually. Because what matters is that by apologizing, you start to change your brain a little bit. You start to practice sincerity, you start to practice authenticity. And the more that you then practice apologizing, eventually those apologies will start to feel real and start to feel true. And then they will be real and they will be true. But it all starts with these like first dishonest actions, these like dishonest ways of apologizing. Because even though it is dishonest to apologize, if you're somebody who hates apologizing, what is more important to you, like there is something that is more important to you than honesty itself. So sometimes we have honesty and sometimes we have dishonesty. And then we have like this third thing that happens where it's like, it is like more important than honesty. It is more important to me than to apologize than to be honest with myself. So then I will apologize. And then the trick, or maybe like the thing to look out for is what do I do then after? Right? So like that first action maybe was inauthentic. So let's just say that that's okay. What do we then do after? What are the ways we change after that? See, if you mean sincere as in, wait, can confirm my dog is one. Okay, now there's something. there's back and forth happening in chat. This is fun. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say to you, Mariners, is that I like I have this desire in me to be on your streams more. And what I don't know, I can't confirm to you whether that thought is authentic or not. Am I doing that because I want to grow, or am I doing that because I'm interested in your content? I can't tell you that because I don't think it's possible to tell you. Like I don't think it's possible to know that in the moment. I think like understanding that kind of honesty in yourself, like I've spent a long time trying to decipher this, and I think that it is impossible to know in the moment. What I can tell you is that there are, like what I do know is that there are perverse incentives. Like there are the incentives I want to grow. That is a fact. It is also a fact that I did enjoy the vibe of your stream, and I did enjoy the music and all that, and I enjoyed parts of it. And I'm also, here's the other fact. Like this you maybe I don't need to, like you just already know about this just based on the person that I am, is that I'm interested in learning. I'm interested in learning what other people have to say, and I'm interested in learning how other people stream. And so watching your streams will I will learn more about streaming by watching your streams. And so you can know that for a fact that like if I'm on your stream, whether I'm pretending to be nice or not, you cannot know that, but you can know with absolute guarantee is that I'm going to be looking at your stream and I'll be learning something from it, and that I enjoy the process of learning. Because if I didn't enjoy the process of learning, I wouldn't be doing any of this. like all of this, everything that I've been doing up until now, like is incompatible with the idea that I don't enjoy learning. So that's what I can say. And hopefully, maybe we can like, like gain something meaningful from that, as not you and me, but like as a world. Don't try and learn stuff. Hey, like I said, um uh I will learn some from your stream anyway, whether you like it or not. It's like I was the stream that I was watching earlier. Like I can do that any stream I look into.
Hi, sorry about that.
Let's try look at this one. Okay, I am learning something right now. Okay, the quality of the streamer now is not that great, but like whether you like it or not, Mariners, I will be learning something from your stream, and whether that's like techniques, and whether that's tips, or whether that's or whatever, I don't know. I just will like I'm telling you that is a fact. Like what is it? Music provided by app.chillhop.com. I haven't heard of this website before. What is app.chillhop.com? Let's look it up. Let's see what's here. And by the way, I hope that ooh, interesting. Is this like royalty free music? Maybe not. And so like I hope that like I don't know what impression I give when I like talk about those book stream earlier because of the quality, because their stream keeps going in and out. Today normally her streams are quality and fun. Yeah, this is when I will give this a follow.
It's like, okay, I have to.
So hopefully like again, like I don't know what the
credit card bill, medical bill. Oh my goodness, we have a follower.
Yeah. Okay, it's me.
Goob.
Yeah, it's me.
Welcome.
That's me. Oh my god. Oh my god, hello.
Today, but apparently not.
Will she know that I'm reacting to her thing right now?
It's such a struggle of like, do I actually rest and get the rest that
Oh my god, this is exciting. This is exciting. This is fun. See, that's the thing too. It's like there is fun that I don't even realize that there's fun in. Like this is fun. Like just like being in the community is fun. And I miss being like, I'm not in that many communities, and I want to be in more communities because I like communities. I miss, and I'm lonely. I have friends, but I moved to Texas, so I have a lot of friends in Chicago and like other places in the world. But I moved to Texas, and I don't have any friends here, and part of that is intentional because I wanted to sort of self-actualize. But it is true that I don't have a lot of friends here, and so I like that's another perverse incentive I have. Mariners is that like I also like on top of growth, on top of all of that, I also just want more friends. And I want to have more friends who are interested in the things that I'm interested in. And if that, if that is that's where half of Twitch lives in Texas. Yeah, probably. But like if that is, like, and the reason, by the way, the reason I'm talking so much to you about what you just said is because I spent a long time thinking about that. Like, what is, like, is this an act of authenticity, or is this an act of honesty by, trying to do this thing for a friend that I'm not normally, that I don't normally do, et cetera, et cetera. I think what guides me, what sort of helps me, in my path forward, in my path to self-actualization and to artistry, is that what matters is, like am I having fun? Am I having fun interacting with other streamers? Am I having fun being on your stream? And that's really the only thing I can promise for myself, to myself, is that like is this thing fun for me? Am I having fun learning? And if I stop having fun, then I think that's when the real crime starts happening. Is like if I stop having fun and then I pretend that I'm having fun. I think that's when the real sort of sin starts. That's when like all of that starts to like sort of like fall apart. I think are disingenuous, but again, that might be a wrong assumption. No, I'm really glad you brought it up. And I like also uh I'm really glad you brought it up, and I also like this is like a thing I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about thinking about that, like honesty, dishonesty, truth, authenticity, being genuine, being disingenuous, all of that I'm intensely interested in. And then maybe what I'll like sort of leave you with, Mariners, and also Naughty Dog if you're still around, what I'll leave you with, because again, I think about this all the time, is a concept that I am like studying or exploring. Hi, Naughty Dog. Also, I love your name, Naughty Dog. Hello, not like hello, Naughty Dog. Yeah, I don't know. I love the name. I like anything with dogs in it because it's hi doggy. I like dogs. I really like dogs. So woof woof. How good is your bark, Naughty Dog? Because I can pull off a mean bark. I can go. Let me try it. I don't know if the mic caught that. But I can make my dog jump. I just that's something I want to like pull into more. Is like how do I sort of show, how do I make this how do I put more dog into my stream? I want people to see my streams and think, oh my god, this guy is like either is a dog or just like is obsessed with dogs. How good is your bark? So what I want to end the stream with is this concept called signals, specifically honesty signals, which is a concept in like like evolutionary psychology. So it's like the psychology of evolution. And signaling theory is sort of this body of work. Now I'll switch to actually my main desktop view so it's easier to read. So it's this body of work that encompasses this question, or tries to answer this question of when individuals are sort of like competing sexually or for sexual selection, when individuals are competing with that, how do you know when an individual is telling the truth? How do you know, for example, if people who are very strong are the ones who are going to get laid? I say this with humans, but like, think about this in terms of animals. Like if you are an animal and you are the big and strong animal, and that means that you're going to, the bigger and stronger you are, you will just get laid more, and you want that. How do you know if an animal is being truthful about the fact that they're big and strong? And it's kind of an interesting question, but it's like if a let's say an animal could sort of like convey bigness by disguising themselves with like maybe they could like mold sand on top of them to make them look like they have bigger muscles. So that's a sort of like a fantastical example, but like, you know, how does it's an easy way to tell if someone's lying. Some of them, if their mouth is moving, that's their answer. That's interesting. I'll sort of like look into that. But like this is a little bit separate from that, or like it's not really about like lying. What it's about is it's a little bit about lying, but it's about how like if an animal is trying to communicate something, how do you basically like how do you know if they're lying or not? And of course, animals don't have communication. They don't have language. They can't speak. They can't talk. This is my 10th. Oh, you were joking. Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize you were joking. Some people bullshit and bullshit only. Some of them, okay, I see the joke. I see the joke. Okay. That's something I'm actually pretty bad at telling when people are joking or not, because I give people too much credit, too much for the benefit of the doubt, maybe. So that's something, you know, to learn about me. But anyway, so here's like, let me give like a sort of example. Is like, let's say you are a peacock. You're a bird. You're a peacock specifically, and you are a healthy one. So you're a healthy peacock, and you want to tell the other peacocks, the female peacocks, hey, I'm healthy, and I promise that I'm healthy. Okay? You can just trust me. Now that the female one might ask you, okay, prove it. I want to know that you're healthy, prove it. Okay? So what are you going to do as a male peacock? You're going to do something that only a healthy peacock can do, which is you're going to grow this beautiful sort of bouquet of feathers behind your back and call that your tail. And these feathers, right, for them to remain as beautiful as they are, require a ton of energy. So that's nutrition, calories, fitness. Okay? Like no lack of disease. You must be healthy. If you have a peacock, then you will say what that communicates to other birds is that you are healthy. You can't lie about that. You're not lying about that, right? You are as healthy as can be. I can tell. Because faking a peacock tail is like not easy. In fact, it is impossible. So that is a signal that anybody can kind of trust. Okay, I see that you are like, you know, you are healthy. You are probably telling the truth. I will believe you. Let's fuck, right? Let's do the diddle. I think I'm developing the species for possible future sci-fi, whatever. And one of the things I created for them is that they purr when pronouncing R sounds, and the longer and deeper the purr is, so every interaction with them is involuntarily honest. Yeah. No, like this is why I think about this all the time. Is because like thinking about like how are ways in which like things sort of communicate, like things what are things that different species are difficult at hiding, at like being deceitful about. I think that can be very interesting when creating like sort of like just different species, like different intelligent species, especially. Fuck off. And it's stupid. Okay, sorry, just a stupid spam. Yeah. I don't think they were being honest. I don't think appropriate pronunciation 0 was being very honest with us, I will say. So that's the basic idea of that. So another example is stotting. So like baby deer or baby antelopes will, when they are running from predators, they'll do this thing where they just like jump and just go, whoa. And sometimes you'll see it, like there's videos of it, and they'll like get very stiff like that. And the reason why is because to any predator who is watching, that's going to communicate to that predator, hey, I'm healthy and I'm going to run, and you're going to have a hard time catching me. You might catch me, but it's going to take you a lot of resources, and I'm not going to go down without a fight, and you are way better off catching another prey that is weaker than me. And the fact that I can strut, the fact that I can jump like this proves to you I don't have to do anything else. That proves to you that I'm healthy. Now, of course, antelopes don't live in a civilized society. If they did, they might be able to lie about that. Like they might, attach springs to their hooves or something. So that's a complication, like that's sort of a complication that happens once we start to think about, societies and stuff. But won't get to that right now. But the kind of idea here is that animals, in order to be honest, what they'll do is, or they can give signals that are honest. So they communicate something, and the thing that they are communicating are exactly what we expect them to communicate. If an animal is stotting, if a deer is stotting, then that communicates to us that deer is strong, and we have no reason to suspect otherwise. Like we like that is exactly, and that is true. That is the truth. That is honest. But signals can also be dishonest. Okay? Signals can be dishonest. Here's an example of a dishonest signal. A crab. And by the way, so I'll say this example and then I'll talk about it. So this crab is being dishonest right now. How do we know? So this crab is a type of crab, and I think maybe most crabs can do this, but at least this specific crab species can, where when they lose their claws, those claws can regrow. And when they regrow, sometimes those claws will be bigger. Now, when a claw is regrown, it is always going to be weaker than it originally was, because it is like, when you regrow a limb, the regrown limb just will be weaker. The claw is going to be weaker no matter what. But sometimes it might be bigger. And generally speaking, when you are a species who relies a lot on strength, to show that you are worthy of mating, right? The crabs are a social species and they like to be stronger than others, especially male ones. And that's how they sort of like, dominate each other, et cetera. And that's how they get laid. And if you want to get laid, it gives you a lot of opportunities to get laid if you are stronger, which means that means that the crabs with the biggest claws. The bigger the claw a crab has, the stronger they are. That is true for 90% of crabs, 95% of crabs. But, and here's the cool part, okay? This crab, okay, has a bigger claw, but this claw is weak. This crab, this crab is weak. It should just evolve. That's true. Yeah. Why didn't they think about that? Just so because this claw is weak, this crab is communicating that it is strong dishonestly. It is not actually stronger. It is just implying that it is. And the reason why this works, the reason why we believe that this crab is strong is because the majority of crabs with big claws are strong. So that's rule number one. Rule number two is that there is a cost that this crab endured. The cost is that the crab lost a fucking limb. Okay, that's not you don't want to just cut off a limb if you don't have to. But you might die from that. Okay, like that is the cost here. Is that nobody in their right mind would willingly cut off a limb. It is coincidence or chance or luck or fate or whatever that this crab was able to regrow a limb that was bigger. That might not happen. Okay, you might actually grow a limb that is smaller. So that's why this honest signal works. That's why it's still an honest signal, because all crabs, when they majority of crabs, the bigger they are, the stronger they are, and only some crabs fake that. And as long as only some crabs fake that, you can still say that the signal is honest. It is still an honest signal when a crab is bigger to mean that they are stronger, even though there are edge cases and there are exceptions. But 95% of the time, 99% of the time, you can basically assume that, so it remains an honest signal. So this is also something we see with poisonous animals, for example. Majority of animals that are bright, like bright frogs, like this, the majority of them are poison. The majority of them have toxins on their skin. The majority, and some don't. Okay, but the cost of that is that, like, the cost here is that when you are bright, you are easy to spot in grass, in nature, on trees or whatever. You become really easy to spot, and so the only way this works is if most animals who are bright are poisonous. Without it, if like half of animals were poisonous and half weren't, the animals that were bright, then this signal wouldn't work. You wouldn't be able to trust that, and so the whole system would kind of start to fall apart. You need the majority to be poisonous, at least, and some animals are capable of faking it because the majority are poisonous, and the majority have to be poisonous because the cost of this signal is that you become very easy prey. You become very easy to spot. So that's the cost here. So not every animal wants to pay this cost, and so not every animal is going to risk faking being poisoned. I think we're meant to be stronger than that. Practice something. I'm stealing that word, and I will try to add it to my. I'm loving this conversation. Sorry, I'm just sort of like going through it. I'm loving this back and forth that's happening here. I'm really enjoying it. So when okay, here's why this is important. By the way, maybe this might like help. It's going to blow your mind. It's not going to blow your mind, but this is why this is very interesting to me. This topic is because there are honest signals in media. There are honest signals in art. And up until now, the honest signals in art were like, if something was painted, you could trust that a human made it. So there's these signals at art that transmit this idea that a human made this thing, and these signals have existed for a very long time. So when like you see like a thing that exists online, like you see like some kind of like art drawing, especially like maybe a stylized drawing like 10 years ago, you see that, and you can be pretty confident in saying a human person made this thing. In fact, you can say it with almost complete accuracy. You can almost say it for sure. And what we're living in right now is we're living in a world where those signals are changing because AI exists now. And AI makes faking the process of being an artist very, 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 very easy. And so now you can no longer trust when you see thanks for trying. Make sure to look at the VOD. I'll have a good one. Bye, Mariners. I'll be on only for like a couple more minutes anyway. So this, according to this, I'm done in 7 minutes, but I might end the stream sooner than that, or I don't know. It depends whenever I get bored of talking. But yeah, I'll see you around. So this is what really intrigues me, is that and this is why I think AI, the topic of AI, gives people so many emotions, especially like emotions related to things like dread, is because we see the things that we thought were sacred, the things that we thought, okay, a person definitely made this, or a human definitely contributed to this, the things that we had sort of faith in that no longer exist, or they're becoming that honest signal is losing its integrity because now it's easy to fake it. And the reason why they existed earlier is because there was a cost. So the honesty has to have some kind of cost, or there must be a cost to be dishonest. That's how an honest signal becomes an honest one. And the cost of art, once upon a time, was that it took a lot of effort and time and maybe money, or just dedication, practice, training to produce something that is great. And it just wasn't possible to fake a painting without a high degree of knowledge. And so even if you fake something, it still required a ton of knowledge to be able to fake it convincingly. And so that's why there was too much cost in that. Like it was too difficult to do that. So now here, like the sort of conclusion to this, the thing that I think really makes this worth thinking about is that there are still honest signals in art. They still exist. We still have signals that tell us when something is made by a person or not. We might not have discovered them, or the signals still might keep changing, but they do exist. There are things that we can do that are costly to us that can demonstrate that this thing, you cannot fake it. A person definitely wasn't involved. And I can tell you, if you're still around, Naughty Dog, I can tell you what I think some of them might be, because I think they're very interesting. So the idea of what can be an honest signal in art, there's got to be a couple requirements. One, it just needs to be hard to fake. It needs to be hard to fake. And two, there must be hard to fake because there is a cost. Yeah, there's also cost versus gain too, right? So that's a big component to it as well. So as we sort of like enter like this new, because I think it's important to think of right now, I think it's important to think of this as like a new world of art. So like we're just entering a new era is being ushered upon us. And we need better tools to know if something is, made by a person, if something is human made. And it's not going to be whether something was made by AI or not. Like we can't trust that anymore. In fact, we should assume that one day we're going to live in a world where it is not possible to make art without AI. Let's just assume that. Like we might live in a world where maybe like, and this is a crazy scenario, but this might not even be that unrealistic. It's like the government mandates that all artists use AI. You cannot make a film if you don't use AI. The government mandates this. Okay? Like obviously that's ridiculous, but like it's not that, that's kind of like that. If that happened, I think that like that, you could perceive that as like a thing that is possible. And it makes sense why, a government might mandate that if a government is now very like, if we're moving away from democracy and into like oligarchy, the like there could be incentives for that to happen. So let's assume it is not possible to make art without AI. So that is not the thing we're looking for. If something is human made, we have to look for other things. So here are three things that I've thought of. One, fetish. If you include fetish in your work, it could be like your fetish. It could be like a fetish that like, maybe like just like maybe an exploration of fetish. Fetish, I think, is an example of an honest signal, because there is no easy way to fake having a fetish or like the existence of a fetish. Like for example, like if you are really into feet, say you're really into feet, and I use this as an example because there's a lot of creators like Quentin Tarantino and Dan Schneider who like, very much have a foot fetish. If you're really into feet, you include foot fetish in your work, people are going to look at that work and think that is a Dan Schneider thing. That is a Quentin Tarantino thing. Right? You see fetish and you see someone's foot in a Quentin Tarantino movie, you just know that Quentin Tarantino made that choice. Okay? The reason why that is like difficult to fake is that why would you want people to think you have a foot fetish if you don't have one? Why would you want people to assume this thing about like this is like a thing that is like embarrassing? I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have. I'm saying that this is like embarrassing in the world of like executives and like, you know, finances, like in this like top world. It's a thing. Like there's no good reason for you to fake having a foot fetish unless you have a foot fetish. Okay? So that's like a you know, I guess like a thing I came up with in terms of like what could be like a signal that we see and we can say, okay, that is made by a person, and that I think I know who made that decision. Number 2, self-insertion, literally putting yourself like as much as you can, or you know, like thinking about like here's like a really great uh ooh hold on. Here's a good comment you said. Hold on. I think entities like movie studios and such would mandate that before government suit, just because it can be churned out faster. Yeah. I feel the reason people use generative AI is to turn out more product quickly, and or they don't have the skills to create it on their own. Yeah, like this is like, I'm not saying that like oh, timer expired. That's okay. I'll keep going because I'm having fun. Like I do agree. Like I think there is a world in which like studios would mandate this because it just does churn out art faster. And when I'm reading this. So churn out more product quickly, and or they don't have the skills to create it on their own. That is a I guess maybe that's like a second part to this, that like this could sort of exists outside this conversation that is really worth exploring. It's like the because I wanna let me just sort of like break this down. Is that I sort of have two fights in this. I have two dogs in this fight, so to speak. I have two naughty dogs in this fight. Here's the first fight: is that like we have to sort of like forgive AI usage to then to sort of like think of art in like other ways, so that we can like see the humanity behind an art, even if it was made by AI, like, or mostly made by AI. Like how can we like still like think of art in this different lens? That's what's one dog in that fight. And then the other dog in that fight is, how do I encourage people to do things by themselves without AI? Because I just think, and it's not because I think it's an evil, I think it's just more fun. Like it's just more fun to create without AI. And so I want to like encourage that. And so there's like sort of like, yeah, there's like two sort of like sides on that coin. And so I think that using AI ends up hamstringing you. Oh, hello, Busy Bard. It does. It hamstrings you, and like I said, I think it is just less fun. But when I think about like, so here's kind of like the truth of it is that I see art as a religion. I don't see art as like just a hobby. I see it as something that is like very divine, and I want to encourage others to have sort of like a path to art. I want to encourage, and I want to, you know, kind of like how a religious person might convert someone to religion. I want to convert people to artistry. And so part of my messaging in that, like, I have to be forgiving of people who use AI. I just like have to. And I have to sort of like you know, like talk about art in this way, even though it is my belief that we would be better off without it, and then like we make better art without it. That being said, of course, I will never use AI because it is less fun. That's the reason why I don't use AI, and it's not because like I think a part of me does think it does erode art, but that's not why I don't use it. It's just less. It is a less fun way to learn and to experience the world. And I want to share that with other people too. And so I think so. This whole conversation to me is extremely, you know, like I want a future. Here's my future that I want. I want a future where anybody can be an artist, where anybody, like, just like how we have like the road, like we have like the golden path to religion, for example, or anybody who wants to be religious, they have that path for them. I want a path for anybody to be able to become an artist and live life as an artist. And I don't just mean a visual artist. I mean a writer. I mean a creator. I mean an author. I mean like a musician, any kind of artist. And so like I'm sort of like taking lessons from religion in that aspect, where like if you are a sinner, you can still be, baptized. You can still be converted to a life of religion, and that's I think the most effective angle I can provide for art as well, where I don't want to demonize or criminalize or like invoke hatred on AI usage. I want to accept it as it is, like this is just a thing that exists, and then I want to show people how there are other ways to be vulnerable with yourself and to express yourself, and that I think that this method is more fun. That's kind of like, I think that is the angle that will help me transmit my message better. Oh, now hold on. There's some interesting conversation happening here. So okay, I have a thought about what you just said, Naughty Dog. Well, tell my about the souls that went into neural networks ends up consuming your creative outlook, and that kind of goes in the middle to a medium middle ground. It's the way it's going, anyways. So okay, here's kind of my thought, because I've been thinking about this a lot. I think that like, and I guess I'll just put this in the background, because also I want having art in the back. This is not my art, by the way. This is not my video, but just like having something here that has that's artistic, I think is fun. So, I think the way that it's like the reason why, like, what's up, this statement that you said, Naughty Dog, like what stops people from creating art is generative AI use in attempt to reconnect with that. I think so, actually. Like I think that like the reason why people use AI is, or this is not why everybody uses AI. This is why some people use AI. Well, I think the reason why some people use AI is because they have the desire to create, but they don't have the courage to. They don't have the courage to create. And that is understandable, because the courage to create, I think, is sometimes insurmountable. When create the act of creating, the act of being an artist is nakedness. It leaves you naked. It leaves you vulnerable to truth, right? It leaves you vulnerable to your own psyche. Right? It's why when there's a lot of like, very negative thought patterns, I think, associated with art. Why we have things like depression and self-hatred associated with art, is because art is something that leaves you very vulnerable to those kinds of thoughts. And I think a way that people protect themselves is by not engaging in art at all. So they don't engage in art at all. And then AI is like the golden solution for that. They can create, they can be happy without having to go through the pain of being comfortable with yourself and being comfortable with being bad. Now, of course, I also think that like what they get out of Gen AI is like, it's not quite like it. They get maybe like a taste or a sampler of what it's like to be an artist, but they really don't get the full picture. Because the full picture does require you going through the processes. It does require you going through just like the spirituality of it, and I'm not gonna say the suffering of art, but it's like um the like going through the motions of understanding your own honesty to better create art, things like this, that you of course you really shortcut with AI. And I think that is the biggest like regret of AI, or the biggest shame of AI. But I do have some, I guess, like, not like disagreement with like this idea that like AI is like this plagiarism machine that like, you know, I mean, it is in a lot of ways, but the ways, like the way in which it like hallucinates and stuff like that kind of working with randomness and working with like this like inconstruable thing. I think that and it can't, and creating without stealing from creators, like this thing that AI does, this very weird thing. I actually don't think that it is inherently anti-art. Like I don't think that like this thing that has all this data from all these creators, I think seeing it as a stealing from creators, I think makes sense, but I don't necessarily agree that that is a bad thing because of the ways in which art is like studying art works. I'm not saying that using AI is the same thing as studying art, but what I'm saying is like this idea of like looking at other creators and stealing from other creators and copying from other creators, I think is actually a very beautiful part of the art process. Where I think the art process is a lot more about learning how to stand on tops of shoulders of giants and seeing your friends as like giants too. Like learning how to collaborate and thinking about it in that way, mixing from everything that you see. That like I think that there's beauty to that. And so like I have some, I guess thoughts about how people kind of talk about something that is like the way that people talk about AI and are against AI. I disagree that it's a bad thing to sort of like converge all of that information and knowledge together, because I also, you know, seeing it from like a programming side, like open source software, it helps the world. Open source software helps the world, and when we don't really think of art as open source, and like I think maybe we might live in a better world if we did. Like if we lived in a better world where copyright didn't exist, we might live in a better world where companies didn't have ownership of characters, where anybody can create a character. Is AI going to take us to that world? I don't necessarily think so. But it's just like where that argument is grounded in that I have some, not oppositions towards, but like some thoughts that I wish was explored more from like the, you know, not from the lens of like a pro AI lens, but from the lens of someone who is allegiant to art above all else and has reasons for seeing AI in this more, slightly more, not diplomatic, but not, I don't want to say like nuanced either, but like just more like just grayer way, why someone like me might see art or might see AI in that way. Like I'm not entirely against it. And I think the shame is the ways in which, like just the ways in which it exists in the world, and a lot of the problems that it is causing, I think are the biggest detriments to it. But the way that it exists fundamentally, I think that the technology behind it is cool and interesting, and it's sabotaged. Like the whole, like the you know, companies and corporates and billionaires are sabotaging it, and like, you know, now we have to exist with that. Now we have to live with that, and now we have to still prosper, and deliver a world where artists can still live and still live freely, and artists can still prosper. So I don't know what I just said there. I have a lot of I have a lot of thoughts about AI. Like this is something that I wish there was more conversation about, that it wasn't entirely uh like, I guess like demeaning of it without also recognizing like the impact it has. I don't know. I don't yet know how much I want to open that can of worms, because that's also not really what my point is going to be. Like my point is always going to be, you know, learning, art, drawing, creativity. What are ways in which we can value artists? What are ways in which we can, create a world where anybody can still be an artist? How do we make art? How can we codify art into something that is as divine as religion and protected as religion? That's what I'm interested in more than anything in the world. So yeah, sorry for that conversation. I didn't mean for that conversation to necessarily go in that direction. But yeah, I think that is going to be my stream for the day because I do kind of have to go and take care of some stuff. Um, but yeah, I want to thank you guys for and if you guys are still around, thank you guys so much for the conversation. I really enjoyed that. I do sort of have, and I'm noticing now, I do have like a fear of like being misinterpreted. So that's something that to like dig into myself, my own psyche is like, I fear being misinterpreted as an AI supporter. That's not what I am by any means. And there I think some of the sadness that I feel is that like is how toxic these conversations are, and how how much people sort of get into, or people like to typecast people in these conversations. I don't know. It's a big shame to me. And the only thing I can really do now is I can just like kind of go forward and work on the things that matter to me, learn the skills that matter to me, become the artist that I want to be, and inspire others to do the same. I think the world needs more artists. So yeah, that's I think my I think it's a stream. So thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna be streaming every day around this time. And I will catch you guys later. Bye.